Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Whoa, you stumbled onto another Wild Billy Wednesday.
Hold on to your hats, partners. It's about to get wild.
I've worked for 15 years with Billy Gill, and he has never said what he came in here today and said
What'd
to
he
me
say?
boldly, just not in any way fearful, emboldened, I think, by the fact that Amin came in screaming at me, yelling, remember, Dan, when you thought the Thunder were done after game one? And also
He did.
And he also threw in, what's this moment you keep talking about? Like, everyone's a little stronger on Wednesdays, but Billy said to me after
Good morning.
yesterday's show, it wasn't good morning.
Oh.
It was you were an yesterday to Chris and his father.
I said kind of.
Okay,
I
that
softened
that
it.
softens it. But you've never called me an to my face
Well, I
before.
didn't say you were one. I said you kind of acted like one.
Exhibited the behaviors of an.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you are one.
Chris, did you feel that way?
You know, like I said yesterday, I feel nothing anymore, but I did receive a lot of texts yesterday.
Really?
Of people just being like,
It was rough.
you good, man?
It was
What's
rough.
going on there?
Wasn't a fan of it.
See, I struggle with this now that I've been in here more. I'm still trying to understand like what's really happening feelings wise. Are feelings getting hurt? Is it performative? Like I'm still struggling with the line between what's real and what's
And you don't
not.
want to bite the hand that feeds.
Well, let's start with Tony and Billy don't like each other. That one's real.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be telling people what is real and what is not real as people, for example, wonder about the whereabouts of Stugotz. And I kind of wish that was a bit. But I don't understand why Stugotz was on the schedule 4 days this week and hasn't gotten here yet.
He's still in Newark.
My gain.
Well, this is what's happening
We
around here.
were-
This is what's happening. Zaslow's like, I'm on a heater, man. Like, I can't believe Stugotz is leaving the seat open.
No, we were talking back here. It's been a weird couple of days on the show, and Chris asked aloud, like, what do you think Zaz is thinking these last few days? And Billy just picks his head up from his papers, and he goes, cha-ching.
I'm thinking wives love money. I got to go into work tomorrow morning.
Again, with all people love money, Zaslow.
That's true.
It's not just wives. Husbands also
Money's great.
That's true.
love money.
Yeah, that's true.
Really? We're the show now that plays a cash register
It's a little
sound?
tribute to Dave Starr.
Dave would have loved that, and his son, too.
Why don't you find me? He did love his son.
He really
Say
did.
that like that's some type
I don't
of
know.
It was
Why,
an
why
odd
does that
detail.
sound? No,
That's
but he
something
really loved his
he
kid.
did. It's true.
Every time you see him, like he was so proud. Like I don't want this to come off like
You don't get a reward for that. It's not it's a qualification.
Can I get
I'm
top
bothered.
5 people that love their sons?
Joe Biden.
All right,
That's a good one.
That's a good answer.
Greg Cody.
Greg Cody.
Too soon.
There is nothing that will make Greg Cody angrier. And he gets, this is a place that he will get emotional faster and with more claws than in defense of his 2 children.
Let me ask a question. Is that Greg Cody loves his son so much he'll defend them like Mama Bear? Or is that Greg Cody taking offense as Greg Cody that you would make fun of anything that belongs to Greg Cody?
That's a good question on the depths of his narcissism, but I've seen it happen enough that he will rise to the vigorous defense of his son when his son behaves as Greg Cody would. And so when I say too harshly, an indictment of Chris Cote that's basically just an umbrella for my executive producer doesn't return my phone calls.
This is true.
It's just an umbrella.
This is true.
It's an umbrella complaint that I couldn't get a hold of him when he was my assistant. I have some trouble reaching him now that he's in the acting role as executive producer. And so I just didn't say that, but I don't know how you can object to that.
I texted you the other day that Dave Starr died. Nothing.
Do you have that filtered?
Let me just come to the defense of Chris Cote. There are many people who could complain about people getting back to each other. The one person who probably can't is Dan Le Batard. Dan, today you chastised me and Izzy for not responding to your question in an email. I wish there were 3 responses to that question in the same email on the same day, which was days ago.
Yeah, I did miss that. That is true and that's fair. I'm under a lot of different stuff now. But the thing I had requested from you and Izzy, you guys didn't actually, all you said is, yeah, we answered your questions by telling you we weren't going to send any of the things you asked for.
Yes, because we explained why they were unnecessary.
It's an answer.
It is an answer, but it's not a completion.
It's not the right answer.
It's not the completion of the task, right? It's just to tell me no, I can't do that isn't really completing what it is that I've requested.
Dan, it's like you said, hey, let's bake a cake. We said, fine. He said, you know what we really need? Shrimp. And Dan, our response was, I don't think we need shrimp or a cake. And you're like, I haven't heard back. Are we doing the shrimp or not?
Crab cake. Giving the shrimp some thought, some more thought. Circling back on the shrimp.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the ravaging the Pacers just gave the Cleveland Cavaliers? Because I said yesterday the Pacers can beat anybody, and that's not true. They can't beat OKC. But playing that style of basketball on any game, they can be good enough to beat you. But doing this to Cleveland, right? Because I didn't actually write off OKC, though I want to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, I'm just respecting the best player in the world and probably not respecting OKC's defense enough because I have so rarely seen Jokic look like he looked in games 3 and 4, and Denver was still in those games. But I'm not writing off anybody. I'm just respecting the best player in the world.
You kind of wrote them off, Dan. You sounded every alarm because they lost game 1. And I said, Dan, it's the playoffs. This happens all the time. All they got to do is win 1 in Denver, and we're back at square one. And that's exactly what Oklahoma City did. And now they won 1 up ahead in home on game 5. And now all they got to do is win 1 and win the whole thing because the playoffs, Dan, it's a dance. It's not just like, here we go, boom, boom, all right, we're done. You go, you say, may I? And then they say, you may. And then you grab the hand, and then you waltz, and then you do a little twirl, and then a little dip, and now we're cha-chaing a little bit. This is how this thing goes, unless you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, in which case someone just kicked you in your ass out the door named Indiana.
Well, what's the indictment of this? Because Cleveland will go down as someone no one will believe in next year because of what happened last year and what happened this year. But those 4 players that they have are a hell of a core. I will say, though, that what you're presently watching is the hardening of the Pacers over the playoffs, where last year they were a thing to be feared and they had all sorts of win probabilities over the Celtics where they should have won like 3 of the playoff games late, were probable to win and blew all of them. This feels like a different team to me. Do I have this wrong? It's just a 50-win team, and I don't know in today's game when the players are talking about Halliburton being overrated, I'm watching a player and I'm like, that's not overrated.
Yeah, but we know what that poll, that's a popularity contest. That's the players telling you, we don't like that guy.
That's exactly what that is. And
number 2 is Rudy Gobert. We don't like that guy.
Zaz, this is my favorite part about this. Yesterday after the Pacers win, LeBron tweets out something like, LMAO, we're all these lames who think he's overrated now. And that immediately let me know LeBron was one of the ones who voted. He's one of the guys.
I think collectively we have one overriding thought from last night's Cleveland Cavaliers elimination, and it was this sound courtesy of Turner.
A group text message was sent out to every single Cavalier player from Max Strus. Strus said simply, if you don't believe, then don't show up for work.
What was he from 3?
He was 0 for 9 from the field.
Wow. Wait, so how many threes did he hit?
He was he was 0 for 6 from 3. 0 points.
I'd rather not believe and make a shot.
So I guess he didn't believe.
He
didn't show up.
Is that straight from the Jimmy Butler playbook, the don't show up to work thing?
It's like the friend that's like, we're going to rage all night, and then at happy hour after 3 Long Islands is done.
Does Max Strus think about that at any point? Like late in the game, he's sitting on the bench like, damn, I know TNT said that I sent that text message, and I'm sitting here over.
Zaz, that's the crazy part. Sending that text message, not a big deal. It's a team. You got to fire up the team however you want. It's the telling Jared Greenberg, hey, Jared, this is what I sent the team, by the way. Yeah, we're going to get on tonight, boy.
God, I look like such a dumbass now.
I think that was like the last bit of culture oozing out of him. He's like, I got to inspire the group.
He took Duncan Robinson's job because when he's 0 for 9, he knows he's making the 10th one. Like he doesn't mind 0 for 9. Like they
what
kept
I loved about Max.
The reason that he made $50 million is because, yes, throw me the ball, I will always shoot it. I'm going to continue to space the floor this way. I think that happens. I wish though that we had a segment somewhere in sports where we had so much access that instead of all the stories that we get about, oh, he told me in the dugout he was going to hit a home run before he went up there. This story where a guy tries to fire up his team and then goes 0 for 9 and has nothing to do with the reason they won the basketball game.
Well, everything to do why they lost the basketball game.
The top 10 is littered with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler just said all sorts of nonsense, and by the way, he was allowed to get away with it because he'd done enough in the playoffs, but he said all sorts of crazy things.
Even though I'm wearing this jersey, let me throw out Patrick Ewing also was one who gave a lot of guarantees that never came true, except for one time he said, see you on Sunday, and then they actually played Game 7 on Sunday. Other than that, there's a lot of Patrick Ewing guarantees that didn't get made.
There has been nothing more diluted in sports than the public guarantee someone makes because words mean nothing. But you mentioned Jimmy Butler and you mentioned the vagaries and variances of the playoffs. Last round I was saying Jimmy Butler won the whole thing with the Heat. Tonight's a pretty big one for Jimmy Butler. The thing's going to fall on his head here if they need him to be playoff Jimmy. And my question to you is legitimately, can he?
This is literally why they got him. Not to win a series without Steph Curry. It's, can you win us a game? Can you win us a game so that Steph Curry can return to the lineup? Like this is why they got him tonight.
From series to series, though, because if his season ends tonight, I was saying last round, Jimmy got it right, the Heat got it wrong. If you can do that 16 times, if he can stay healthy 16 times, you fast forward from 7 seed to, of course, Steph and Jimmy can beat anybody 4 of 7 games if Jimmy is right. But part of the bet that Miami was making on Jimmy is we can't get him on the court all the time. He's not going to keep staying healthy at 35 because that kind of mileage, they're still talking. Bridges is an Iron Man, and they're still talking about Thibodeau running people into the ground. Jimmy Butler, however it is that science has changed aging, there's a lot of mileage on those odometers, and the pump fakes were starting last playoffs when he had to get shot up I don't know how many times in order to get to try and get into later rounds.
Well, I mean, he does have that injury that he sustained against Houston, so we don't know what he's dealing with. But again, at this time of year, everybody's hurt. That's what I would say. You can't say he's hurt. Everyone's hurt. But, Dan, it is curious. To me, it's not that he's not having these amazing games. It's that he's looking very reticent, right? He gets in the lane without even looking at the rim.
They even mentioned it on the broadcast last game. Why didn't he shoot that?
Yeah, he's driving, looking to pass, looking for someone else to give the ball.
Like here, Gary Payton III, you shoot instead of me.
or just even initiating the contact and going through it, and some of that is Rudy Gobert. But even when Gobert's off the floor, he's not looking aggressive, and it's weird. But here's the thing, Dan. If he comes out tonight and has 40 and they win, and then Steph comes back next game, all is forgiven.
But my question to you is legitimately, can he, right? Because when we talked yesterday about Giannis,
which was amazing the way you guys talked about it, like, oh, he's not in his prime. I'm like, what are you talking about? He had the best year of his career. It's like, is he any worse than he was like a year or two ago? No. Okay, this is his prime.
Usually in basketball, the prime isn't at 30.
You just look at it. That's where you want to know where the prime is. You look.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
look at that. Oh yeah, that's its prime.
Fair enough. Is it sustainable with like his frame? I mean, if anybody's been built to carry that kind of mass at that size, it's Giannis. His nickname is Freak, but like his game, he doesn't have a consistent shot. His game is power on the inside, and he's going to be north of 30. I do think it's fair to question like how long can he be that?
But the reason, okay, so yes, we mentioned that he had his best year. I was just saying we're headed into the 30s, and still I was saying you trade everything for him almost no matter who you are. And the reason is the same reason that the Celtics are unlikely to be able to rally against the Knicks, because you need a guy who breaks down everything the defense is going to do. And you can build around that. It's the most important thing that you would need from a player that is a centerpiece, is somebody who is such a physical force that he can wreck everything you're trying to do on defense. And it doesn't matter if Max Strus is playing for Cleveland or the Heat or whatever. You can find 4 guys who can shoot around it.
I'm sorry, you said who would rally against the Knicks?
Boston. That's
like rally cars, like they're driving from Dakar to Paris. Like rallies, like the checkers knockoff.
They're so toast.
Like Raleigh, North Carolina.
The Panthers are playing tonight against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And the Knicks and Celtics get the sound.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Go New York, go New York, go.
Wow. So,
I'm going to be there front row at this funeral.
Jim Dolan's throwing basketballs to fans outside here. Hey, kid, you want the Game 4 ball? Hey, man.
I don't want that building to have a second of hope.
Bing bong.
I just want them to get in their seats and not have a reason to stand up beyond the tip.
I'm not sure. I've been watching this series just like you guys have been, but I'm not sure you've been watching the Knicks all season if you're confident that they can't lose the next 2 games.
No. They're going to go down 20, and then the game starts. You understand? Then the Knicks start playing a little bit.
The Knicks can very easily lose twice to the remains of this Boston.
That's right, because Derek White is one of the greatest players I've ever seen with my own eyes. I had this take yesterday. In games that I have watched with my own eyes, Derek White is a top 100 player in the history of the NBA.
What about games with other people's eyes?
Other people's eyes, I can't speak to that.
Derek White 2 years ago sent me to a place I have never been as a sports fan.
I hate betting against this guy. Every time I bet against this guy, he's amazing. He hits all the props. The guy is incredible. He's a good defender. He hits big shots. He stops the best guy whenever there's a switch and someone tries to take advantage of his size. He's incredible.
He hits all the props when you don't bet on him. It's an important distinction, because when you do bet on him, then those are the 2-point games.
There's nobody I have ever feared more betting against outside of maybe Patrick Mahomes than Derek White. It's crazy how good this guy is.
Wait, so in the Pantheon, it's Patrick Mahomes 1, number 2, Derek White.
Yep.
I'm still stuck on the complete and obvious lie that Mike Ryan's going to have the sound on the Knicks game tonight.
It is a lie. You got me.
Get the hell out of here.
You got me.
Got those chickens ready.
Yeah, I
Get the hell out
I
of
said that for a fact.
Oh,
You
wow,
caught me.
delayed chickens.
Yo, chicken time.
Hand up.
I'm a chicken. Yeah, good job.
Hand up. I'll admit it when I'm wrong. I was wrong there. I lied.
Speaking of chickens, Roy has been nothing.
I'm a chicken.
Chicken?
Nothing. Yeah, Zaz needs some work on the
He's
chicken.
figuring it out.
It's early.
I'm getting used to things.
He's trying to figure out how all this stuff works. Imagine how disorienting it is. You sit in the seat, you're just hanging out, and all of a sudden everyone's talking like a chicken. He doesn't know how to do an impersonation of a chicken, so he explains just obviously, like all the bad impersonations, I'm a chicken.
I told you, I'm still trying to figure out if and how angry Greg Coty was yesterday.
He was angry. He was bothered, and he does vigorously defend his son. We will see if he comes in tomorrow. He's also asking for a raise.
Or you were one of the two.
Well, why does it have to be either or? Why can't it be that I'm an and he's asking for a raise?
Those are not mutually exclusive.
And by the way, like, this part's not a joke, right? Zaslow is, I don't want to speak for him here.
Go on.
But he marvels at Greg Cody's lack of self-awareness. So I don't want to speak for you here.
That's all you do. Everything from Zaslow to my dad is just Dan being like, this is how Zaslow feels about Greg.
I mean, I literally just said, I'm having a hard time deciphering if Greg Cody's feelings are real or if they are performative.
So this is what I'm saying. They're always real, and you're always left to wonder, is he serious or is this performative? I told Greg yesterday when he left, I told him, Greg, how is it after all this time, 20 years
Well,
together,
that's what I'm saying.
How do you not understand that you're angry is funny and there's nothing like it in, like, Jackass did some of this when they, it's a kid bothering his father. It's funny. And Greg mad, there's nothing funnier than Greg actually mad and forgetting that we're doing a show together.
Like, that was my thought when I left to go home yesterday was, how, after all these years of Greg appearing on this show, am I still in the same room where Dan is telling Cody how much he loves him and appreciates him? Please don't be angry.
Well, so let's take people behind the scene on when the cast members don't know what's bit and what's real. What I'm telling you with Greg Cody, whether it's the hard net workout or him getting mad, all that's real. Greg doesn't know that we're bleeping with him. Greg does this show as serious sports radio person who has no idea. He does not think that Billy is agreeing with him because Billy is, somebody who's doing show.
I'm agreeing with him because he's right.
Hey,
Yeah.
you said don't explain things.
Yeah, what's
what are you
happening?
doing?
Yeah,
Don't
what
tell
are you
people
doing
what's
here?
real and what's
I
not.
feel like
Those are your words.
If I
What's
did what
happening
you
here?
just did, you would be like,
you
you don't
would
explain the
kill
show.
him.
The curtain is there for some reason.
Thank you, guys. You are absolutely right to correct me on that. Sometimes I don't know when we're doing show and when we're not doing show.
I'm glad you said it.
Because when I came in here today and Billy said I was an
Kind of, I said.
It's a thing to say to your boss, man.
I said, well, no, there was more of a conversation.
There was more of a
You're only getting
conversation.
Your portions.
I caught portions of it.
Yeah.
And Dan was like, why didn't we talk about it after the show yesterday? And Billy kindly reminded him, you left early. You're not.
There's a lot of context missing in this conversation.
Also-
I'm being presented in a way.
I just caught portions.
Chris kissed me in the mouth after Dan left the room. I'll just say that.
Also, why are there no shrimp on this cake?
Did you guys know that that Mountain Dew makes a mango flavor?
Oh.
Hold on a
hear him
second.
out.
There's more to this story. Exclusively for Little Caesars.
Huh.
I was shocked. I had someone send me a cameo, and they're like, can you say happy birthday to my husband? Also, we'd like you to try the Mountain Dew mango flavor from Little Caesars. And I was like, okay. Like, I'll go do that. Like, how much is it? I went, and, I found a deal where you could get, like, these Little Caesars puffs where it's basically like a little muffin pizza, which is delicious. Yeah. And those are, like, $4.99 for 4. Are they good? And this is a special where it's $4.99 plus this mango rush. I was like, that's a free mango rush. I can do this, and I can taste it. So I went. And if you put the image up again, like, you can see this can is also, like, specifically designed for Little Caesars. There are little LCs, like, hidden in it all over the place. And it says Little Caesars. Look at the top. That's LCs at the top. Anyways, so
they've done this before, by the way.
I went and I tried this mango rush as I was requested to. I got to tell you, delicious. Wow. It tastes like carbonated mango juice, except it's not as creamy and rich or whatever. But then I got to thinking, who on earth thought, I like Little Caesars, but I like this better with mango soda because that's the only place that it's available. That's all. Just a thought.
It seems like the kind of colorful, sugary excess that you would find at Little Caesars because what do I want with my cheese? Just a candy drink that's carbonated and tastes like mango. I don't put it on the poll at Le Batard Show because I think everyone winced the same way. Does mango Mountain Dew sound good to you? Because the sound of it does not sound good. We all wince.
You know what always surprises? Mango with heat. Like a spicy
like
mango
mango
flavor
with heat.
profile. That is it's savory and sweet and spicy. Yeah. It's very good.
So hold up a second. You said, though, you got this request on Cameo. You're on Cameo?
Yeah.
Okay, this is very interesting to me because I'm very interested in how much you charge
because you
for
love
your
money.
Cameo. Well,
are you trying to leverage?
No. What I'm saying is I set up like half a Cameo profile months ago, and then it got to the place where I have to put how much money I request to do these. And I don't know what to put, so I've never finished the profile.
Zaz, this is what you need to do. You need to torch the profile you have already. It's done. You need to start a new profile off of my referral.
He's
No.
just trying to get-
This because then you get boosted, right? Because then all of my Cameo people see your Cameo stuff. So then you get boosted, and then this is what you do: you set the price, but then you do a price drop immediately. So if you get in now, then it goes to this price. And that's your real price. The price that you put, that's a fake price. But then the sale price is the real price.
You're going to want to write that down.
Okay, that's an interesting strategy, and I will do that. But let's get back to the part that's most important to me.
Yeah.
How much money am I supposed to charge? Like, what are you charging?
But before we answer that question, just real quick.
Dan's on Cameo too.
I am not. I have rarely been more embarrassed than the first thing that happened when we left ESPN is everyone here started panhandling on Cameo.
No, that was after we left ESPN.
It was seconds
but
after
we
we
did
left.
miss. I don't know why I made a principal stand. And I was like, I'm not going to take part in this gold rush. And you guys made so much money.
Made so much money.
Jealous.
Christmas was fun.
But Zaslow
I
just
like
got
money.
here, and so he's asking you for tips. How does
Yeah.
he
I'm, like, embarrassed.
How does he greedily take advantage of the audience immediately? He waited about 10 days before asking. You're going to fit right in here, buddy. That's what that chair does right there.
Dan, you say take advantage of the audience. I say provide, like, not just a service.
Connect with them.
Memories.
Yeah.
Memories forever. You know how many birthdays I've wished? I don't wish happy birthday to my friends, but I'll do it on Cameo. You know why? Because it means something to the people who requested. They want to hear Obama say happy birthday to their best friend or their brother or their sister. Why would I deny them of
Stop
that,
your
Dan?
Cameo advertising.
No, it's / Darth Amin. Go ahead, look me up.
Zaz, here's the deal, because you're asking for like a price point. If I'm gonna be honest with you, we're a little bit past the boom of Cameo. So like when we got in, it was like peak Cameo, and I, like Mike, held off for a couple of days because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna, like, the right personality tone. I don't know if I'm gonna be a fit for Cameo. I don't know.
That's
if I'm
how
the
I
person.
feel. I don't know.
Well,
Billy's honestly perfect for Cameo.
People ended up liking what I was doing, but I waited a couple days and then famously announced that I joined Cameo on January 6th as they were storming the Capitol because I didn't know what was going on. You could hear that full story on Mystery Crate from a couple of weeks ago if you'd like. But
So it was actually kind of around when we left.
yeah,
ESPN.
it was. It was like first thing everybody did because we weren't allowed to at ESPN. So,
Okay.
Anywho, I set a price, and then at the time, again, it was like the boom of Cameo, and they send you, like, you have a Cameo rep, and the rep was like, you might want to up your price, like, significantly because you're meeting a demand. And he wanted me to, like, triple my price. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'll up it like $5 and that's it. But at the boom, Zaz, it was like 30 cameos a day that I had to do, and they would call me in the morning like, hey, you have all these due, you got to do it, all this stuff. It has since cooled down, but a piece of advice that I will give you as someone who is still pretty active on the Cameo and still gets videos, and I had to do some, and I had to do the Mountain Dew one, and that was one that was expired. If you join, you got to do them, because we have some people here who have joined recently. We have Mike Fuentes. I saw joined Cameo for some reason.
What?
Yeah. I don't know why he joined Cameo.
It's a plague around here.
Yeah.
It's just a plague. People get here and they're just like, how do I find places where there are money?
Yeah.
Where
Can we get back to
there are dollars?
Okay, well, this is the piece of advice I would tell you, right? Jeremy also recently joined Cameo.
Oh,
and
Jeremy?
I'm already getting the request of Jeremy didn't fulfill my request. Can you send my husband or whatever a Cameo because it expired and he didn't do it? I've made so much business off of Chris Cody, Stugotz, and Jeremy not doing their cameos.
Well,
it's incredible.
Stugotz.
So do it. And if you expire, as a show of goodwill and good faith, because you let it expire, you do it for free. It's
You gotta
an
do it
option.
for free.
You got to do it for
You
free.
gotta do
If
it
you
for
ask
Why
them
would
to
I
rebook,
let it expire?
it just
sometimes-
sometimes you're a busy man.
Stugotz lets them. Yes, they're.
It happens sometimes.
So this is why I'm embarrassed by some of the things that happen around here, because some people can be so gluttonous that they can even turn down the money because they can't get around to it because there are too many requests, and that happens with Stugotz and others. But the part that was problematic when we left ESPN wasn't just that we immediately started panhandling in a way that Greg Cody objects to when he leaves the 5-star Michelin restaurant and a panhandler is outside. He doesn't want to be panhandled.
I think 3 is the most stars. but anyway.
It was that it made what you guys just did now, where you did the subtle advertising for your cameos. For days, you guys were talking about this in a way that contaminated contaminated our show, and now he's done it in the middle of the hockey playoffs.
No.
He's done it in the middle of the basketball playoffs. He's like, hey, how do I find more money?
No, what we were doing was we were alerting the masses that we were now offering them unique experiences, personalized experiences for them, their friends, their family, etc.
Also, the maximum number of stars a Michelin restaurant can receive is 3, Dan.
Okay, I'm sorry. I aired there. I got it wrong.
Well, this is supposed to be your wheelhouse, though.
Food, yes. Thank you. Stop biting the hand.
3
that
stars
feeds
sounds
me.
bad. Like if someone says we're a 3-star restaurant, I'm like, ooh, should be 5.
I just don't know when I'm going to have another opportunity to be on a heater like this.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be the time to finally complete
Yeah.
my Cameo profile, and you have yet to tell me
I
the
would do
one
like
thing I want to know.
$250 for your Cameo.
How much do you do?
Time out.
I do like 45.
You guys just steamrolled.
Billy wins.
It's Billy's day. They steamrolled
That's
a good
one
joke.
of the best jokes you've ever done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Billy didn't.
I won't
hear
even
it.
repeat it.
Billy didn't even hear it.
I'm trying to help out
I know.
Zaslow here.
We need to get back to sports.
You also have to know, Zaz, that like they took a nice chunk out of it. And if someone books it on an Apple product, oh good lord, you're basically doing
Zaz,
it for free.
$50. Put $50, you get 75%.
How much does Jeremy do?
I think his was like 15, which he was like, I'm not going to be able to do all of these that I'm getting. He's a busy man.
We need to get back to sports. It's an interesting time in sports.
I wanted to talk about how the Michelin star became so valued. It's a crazy story.
It is a crazy story. You could put it for later in the show because we should have got to it yesterday. But I don't want to leave the local hour and get to Hank Azaria and start talking Knicks. It's a pretty enormous Panther game tonight. And I know that Roy and Zaz and Chris pretend to not be afraid because you've got the better team. But this is terrifying.
I'm afraid.
It's best of 3 in Toronto, and that place is dying. Like this. If they knock off the Panthers, you guys know that this will be a fan base that is feeling as good as it's ever felt.
I shouldn't say afraid. I'm very confident, but I am going to be on the verge of projectile vomit the entire 60 minutes. Like, I'm going to have super anxiety and agita the entire game. But, Dan, if the Panthers score the first goal tonight, woo, that crowd's going to get tight.
This feels like a 7-game series to me. And I don't know what that means for
They're going to
tonight.
play a 7-game after the Panthers have already clinched it in 6?
I think that this goes 7.
Unprecedented.
That's what I feel strongly about. I think this is a 7-game series.
Unprecedented.
So it would be, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is it unprecedented to win in 7 after you've lost in 6? that is what Zaslow, the Homer train around here. I'm embarrassed for Zaslow on this behalf.
Don't be.
Do you understand how hard it is to be more of a homer than Greg Cody, Parakeet Cortez, and Mike Ryan about our local sports teams? You never think the local team is going to lose. You have never in 20 years watching you do this, do you go into a night predicting the locals are going to lose tonight? I know they're going to lose.
Okay, but you know what it is? It's that this Panther team, every single year, they were 6 points back of 8th. Every single year, they were 6 points out of the final playoff
We had
spot.
that game in hand, though.
And now,
It was an 8-year run, man. It was an 8-year run.
every year,
No,
6
dude,
points back.
It must have been. It felt like 27 years of that.
We did a decade of radio on, hey, they're 4 points out.
With a game in hand.
Roy, get the table.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Rostislav Oles is returning this week.
And now look where we live. But you should be, Roy, you can't do bravado right now. This is, even if you're the champions, and even if you know you got the best team, this is a difficult spot, and hockey can happen, and you can lose in that
So
building
hard.
to their backup goalie.
Maple Leafs are shook, man. What are
Although,
you talking about?
hold on a second. Their backup goalie, like Joseph Wall, the game of his life.
Yeah, I don't.
in game
Is Wall
4.
playing? I know Stellaris was back on the ice.
I would absolutely stick with Wall.
Yeah,
if
he
I'm
was
Toronto,
really good.
no doubt.
Yeah, we were getting goalied that game.
Yep.
Absolutely goalied.
He was incredible, but at the same time, did you see the Stanley Cup champs? I mean, that was Panther hockey. They're back, baby. Come on
That
now.
was way better than the CPR line. You remember Ville Peltonen?
So one of the Panthers owners like went crazy on Twitter.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's done that before.
Ooh.
That's not even the first time?
No,
No,
he's
not the first time.
always been like an idiot on social media about that.
That was
stuff.
next level idiot.
Yeah, no, he's been like a next level idiot on
Why?
on that front. He's very outspoken, very conservative, very public about his beliefs.
Hold on, Dodge. Wait, like there was no. It's not even. Like I looked at the interaction. It was just out of the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't out of the blue.
He was baited.
Yeah, he was totally baited. He took the bait, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and if you pay attention to hockey and if you pay attention to the Panthers, like the reason why like this is known amongst like hardcore Panther fans that this is a bit
I didn't know this actually.
No, he's been a problem before, and he pops off on social media.
The Heat
before.
had a minority owner like this as well many years ago. Like you have to be careful with the minority owners who have public opinions because they're just rich people who don't actually have the power of the toy.
Are you talking about Jared Kushner's brother? No. Because that was avoided in the Pat Riley presser. I didn't see them answering questions about how Jared Kushner's brother acquired a stake in the Miami Heat. We just move it along.
Wait, so you're saying the principal owner of the Panthers has done this before?
Minority.
He is the second in charge.
No, he's
I think he's a CFO.
He's a big deal.
Oh, okay, so but has there been any repercussions in the past? Not for this one yet. But in the past,
maybe
from the NHL,
not from the NHL, not from the NHL, and he's been suspended indefinitely, which was the right call from the league. I don't know if there have been internal actions. Again, like he's got a sizable stake in the Florida Panthers. Like there's only so many people that can tell him to do something over there.
I mean, I kind of feel like we've seen owners get squeezed out for stuff that's like that. No, not throughout all sports.
Minority owners usually aren't valuable enough to keep around with something like this.
But indefinite suspension from the league, it's pretty significant.
Yeah, I mean, he did multiple things wrong in one tweet. Like it was just like it's not something that you see from an executive in sports.
Right.
You want to give me the Wild Billy Wednesday sound here because I have a question here.
Wild Billy Wednesday.
That I need transitionally to.
It's a strange transition.
Yeah, well, I needed
have to do with this past story.
I needed something softer. Yes, I'm still getting used to Wild Willy Wednesday.
Mango soda?
Amin, can you answer for me this question? I fear that I'm asking a stupid question. Mike Ryan corrected me on this last week. I think I referred to a goaltender as a goalkeeper or a goalkeeper as a goaltender. Amin, do you know the difference between those two things? Not just like, of course, we can just say goalie, but one who tends and one who keeps. Do you know the actual difference of that? Because I don't.
Yeah, one's for hockey, one's for soccer.
Nope.
That wasn't that hard.
Not hard.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
One's a tendy, one's a keep.
Like a chicken tender, chicken keeper.
Dan, it's like a center in basketball and a center in hockey. A center in hockey spelled R-E. Center in basketball is E-R.
Put it
Like
on the
theater
poll
and
at
theater.
Le Batard Show.
Wild Billy
Do
Wednesday.
you know the difference between goaltender and goalkeeper?
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Can you guys please play the video of the late Pete Rose when he was on with us recently talking about, I couldn't help but sort of laugh darkly at the idea that baseball would put him in the Hall of Fame or consider it after his death for the first time when he was only living to feel whatever it is that it felt like to be the fountain of youth of a Hall of Fame. But let's listen to Pete Rose saying he didn't want the award after he was dead.
In the future, several decades from now, let's say Major League Baseball then makes the decision after Pete Rose is long gone to enshrine him in Major League in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. How would you feel about that?
Well, that would, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to go in the Hall of Fame because I think the Hall of Fame, okay, and don't get me wrong, the Hall of Fame is for two things. It's one for the player, and it's three things. His family. Okay, his fans, and his teammates and everything that was everybody who was associated.
That's more
with
than three.
It don't help me when I'm 6 feet under. How the hell is that going to help anybody? I mean, I still go out today. I'll go out and try to sell the game of baseball, and I'm not even in the game of baseball. But you guys will agree, my name is synonymous with the game of baseball. I have all the records. You know, and that's all baseball is statistics. It's all about statistics. All you guys on TV talk about how many home runs you got, how many RBIs you got, how many runs you got, how many Gold Gloves you win, how many MVPs you win, you know, how many World Series you play in. Those are all questions that I can answer with no hesitation at all.
Makes me angry, man. I was already annoyed because I think it's cruel to allow him. Remember, he's not in the Hall of Fame now, and he probably won't still get voted in, but he's allowed to be voted in now. And I think it's cruel that not only are we going to ban you for life, but guess what? We're going to allow you in when you're dead. And now hearing him say pretty much, the way that I was looking at it anyway. I think it's cruel, and I think it's really weak that Rob Manfred, this great thing that he just did yesterday. No, it wasn't. The hard thing to do would have been reinstating him while he's still alive.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Was that a garage sale cap Pete Rose was wearing? It's exactly the kind of cap I would associate with like an 85-year-old who has stopped caring.
Might be Gucci.
It's a Gucci cap. Now, he did a lot of signings in Vegas. Maybe he pulled one off one of the sidewalk tables. But that is supposed to appear like a Gucci hat.
I thought it was, what do they call fake Gucci's? Like
Fuji?
I thought that was fake and bought at a garage sale. Do I have it wrong? Because it didn't look like it was kept well.
I think he maybe hit a parlay, man.
Yeah.
It is Pete Rose.
We're alleging the Hit King's just got to get a fake Gucci. Come on, man.
Rose's own family pushed for this, and I have seen when you start talking baseball, all of a sudden, look who pops up, and I imagine, Azaria's got a hotline here that he shows up whenever it is that he wants to, and everyone gets out of the way. If you haven't seen Pablo Torre Finds Out, he did an extraordinary episode with Hank Azaria where Hank went deeper on some of the things that he has been through and learned, and on top of that, he's now singing as Bruce Springsteen late in life. This is his quest. Hank, good to see you. Thank you for being on with us. Are you appearing because of the Knicks, or are you appearing because Brockmeyer wanted a hack at Pete Rose?
I'm appearing because I genuinely missed you, Dan. It's been a very, very long time. And all of the people in there. I'm not sure whether to start as Brockmeyer or as Bruce Springsteen or as myself. I have no idea which way to go here.
You've crushed the Springsteen. You've gotten so good at Springsteen, Hank. I don't even know how or why this is. You're performing as Springsteen, and it seems from the videos I've seen that you're having more fun performing than I've ever seen.
It's a little weird. It's not like turning 60 drove me to some kind of weird post-midlife crisis where I felt the need to start up a Springsteen tribute band or nothing like that with a bunch of children, by the way. It's insane how I've gotten totally obsessed. I'm a mimic. I've gotten completely obsessed with talking and singing like Bruce. And it has cheered me up a lot, having turned 60, now 61. And I raise a lot of money for charity doing it, and I really, really enjoy it. So that's what that is.
Hank, is it harder to come up with it's harder to come up with the impression of Springsteen or to learn all the songs?
Well, first of all, I got to say that Stugotz, you've gotten kind of bloated. That's weird.
You haven't seen Stugotz in a while, but to be fair, many in our audience haven't.
What's going on? Have you guys fired Stugotz? Lots going on.
No,
he's stuck in Newark.
He just signed a long-term deal.
All right, I just was worried. I don't know. All of a sudden, there's this guy.
He just can't be controlled.
Yeah, I understand that. I could have told you that a long time ago. Saved you a lot of time. Well, hi, Stugotz. Who's the new guy? Sorry, I haven't been. I've been lost in my Springsteen world.
According to Barrett Sports Media, that's Jonathan Zaslow.
According to Barrett
Hi,
Sports
Jonathan.
Media, that is Jonathan Zaslow.
Hey, Hank.
That's confirmed. Okay, all right.
Confirmed.
The rule is you got to replace someone with the same first name as the other person who sat in that seat. So it was Jonathan Wiener. Now we got Jonathan Zaslow.
Hank,
I see. Nice jersey. Yes.
Thank you.
You are feeling better about your Knicks than you have at any point in 25 years, correct?
100%. It's been insane here in New York. Even when they win, it's like you feel like they lose even when they win. It's like this heart attack, except for that last game. Except that came along with, actually felt bad, Jason Tatum at the end of that game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take it. I would have been happier if he wasn't injured, but because we were going to win that game anyway. But
oh, that's a good question on human nature, though. If I go through that arena and I ask everybody, how do you really feel about this? You're like, you feel bad, but if you could choose it, you feel bad, but if you could have chose for that to happen, you would have chosen for that to happen.
You mean, I don't know. That's a tough call.
The majority of people, if I go
with you.
In New York,
all fans care about is winning.
Hank played it perfectly. You say the sentence of felt bad
but
about
he was
that.
lying. He
but
was
I'll take it.
Nobody was lying. Yes, he played it perfectly, but it's not. Felt bad about that. Well, did you? Like, When he went down, were you hoping it was an ankle and he was going to play the fourth quarter, like play in the next game?
No, by the way he was writhing around, I was sure it was one of those landed on an ankle things, right? And then when they showed the replay finally, and you see it was non-contact. No, I can tell you honestly, when I saw the non-contact nature of that, I felt really bad. I was like, oh no, you just never like to see that. As a basketball fan, you just go, oh, that's awful. That's awful.
I think
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, everyone's pointing out that you were purposely trying to show that you were jacked there
guns,
with your
dude.
biceps. You were insecure because you said you were 61, and then you just gave off the guns, and everybody was looking at.
I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? I'm standing here. What do you want from me?
Are you off for scuba?
Hot in here.
Damn, looks like 60 also triggered something else, pal.
Have you realized that you feel more for men than you thought you did? This is natural. Many men have different feelings. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Is that It's my favorite character of yours, of all of them, Claude.
Claude from Alum Kimpoli?
My favorite of all of them.
Is that guy? The French guy?
You don't have a favorite, do you?
Do I have a favorite?
Yes, the character you played there, it's just my favorite of all your characters, and you've played thousands.
Maybe this is because you have feelings about men you're not totally processed. Could be. It's possible.
I like him as the other guy in Heat.
Well,
he's got a great ass.
You like that Al Pacino yelled that into my head, as do I. I love doing Brockmire. That's a good segue back into the Pete Rose thing.
What is your opinion of this? It's weird, and I should say, because Lord knows I would encourage you to check out the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode where Hank goes through like how things change in public perception and how we react to behavior in 2025 differently than we did 25 years ago. I should point out that Pete Rose is almost fundamentally immoral. He has some accusations of sex crimes around him that if you want to make it not a museum and moralize about it, then I would understand how it is that you would keep him out of the Hall of Fame. But
Man, what a terrible comedy setup.
This is great.
I'm sorry, Hank.
Yeah, I was rethinking, maybe I don't answer as Brockmire. Because Brockmire on the topic of sexual harassment is not going to be good.
At least it's only minors.
Shoeless Joe Jackson was the other one that was reinstated, by the way.
Yeah. That took a while.
For the record, I'm a Blue Raja guy.
Same.
Now, Blue Raja's take on all this would be fascinating. Look at all those folks. Go folk yourself, my friend.
He didn't wear blue.
That movie was good. I will not hear.
I love that movie.
I will not hear that was not good. I got I got Furious Man on text because Ben Stiller was supposed to join Hank Azaria here today to talk about Nick fandom and stuff, but he was very busy. But he did send along a quote that he wanted me to read that I'll get to in a second. But Hank, how do you feel about Jalen Brunson? Is he the most beloved Nick ever already?
Not yet. He has not surpassed Clyde yet. He's making a run at it. He's got to win a ring first to achieve that, in my opinion. And, Clyde, come on, Clyde. There's a guy who, Deuce McBride? Is that Deuce? Who is that? Who number? Is that
Deuce McBride? How dare you?
Who was the original number 2?
How dare you?
Larry Johnson.
Okay,
this is an authentic, sir, from 1999. Zazzle, this is a vintage.
Is that your favorite Nick?
I got a bunch. I got a bunch of jerseys at home. This was the one I wore today.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. To me, Clyde, passing Clyde would be hard. But he might do it. I mean, It's a good problem to have, trying to pick between Jalen and Clyde as your favorite all-time Knick.
Has New York been bad long enough that people no longer hate the celebrities courtside and actually are rooting for an underdog? Because it used to be whatever was courtside at Knicks games in Miami was something that was hated. Is that still the case?
I mean, who hates them? I mean, I'm sure everybody outside New York hates them, but who you mean, like in New York or
what I'm saying is in the turn of the story on the Knicks, where they are an underdog and they are gritty, and Ben Stiller's quote is Jalen Brunson vibes with this city in a way no player has for a long time. He is him. He is the man. He is our captain. The Knicks have been a laughingstock for 25 years. You're old, and so you remember when they were good, but a generation and doesn't. Like they've And so this is the best team New York has had in a sport it cares about vibrantly in the center of the city. I don't know that New York has a greater allegiance than it does to this loser.
Oh, the Knicks. When the Knicks are the main focus of New York. I think they're the most beloved team, and it was especially heartbreaking. I mean, look at through all those 25 years, the Garden was never not at capacity for every single game. I mean, like, need I say more? I mean, it was always insane in there, no matter how the team did. And it's been fascinating. As you know, I'm sort of obsessed with team ownership and how that affects everything. And I don't think, can you recall, Dan, an owner sort of, I know that sometimes teams get sold, like the Mets are a good example, right? The Wilpons got out and Steve Cohen came in, and it's changed things over there. And we've seen that happen in a bunch of places. I can't recall an owner really just kind of reversing his policies and going, let me hire guys who know what they're doing and let them be. And it's worked. Can you recall any other example of that?
I'm trying to think of people. Bridges, they didn't initially know what they were doing, but they ended up knowing what they were doing so well that people are surprised by a team. They're surprised that Brunson is this. They're surprised that Bridges is doing what he is in these games, even though Bridges was given, they gave 5 first-round picks up for Bridges because he plays all the minutes, and that's what the perimeter defense is going to look like. And so it was built to beat this team, and now it's beating it. No, I have not seen that kind of competence. I can't readily think of an example. The crew's looking for something of this kind of competence surprising all of us, because not only did they get it right, they were all being questioned about it. They broke up a popular team. I don't know if you feel like Hartenstein leaving is breaking up the team, but bringing in Bridges over that was not popular. Like they were playing for now when none of us thought they should be playing for now, that they were a long distance from the Celtics.
No, well, wait, many points there. They tried to hang on to Hartenstein. They literally couldn't. He got 18 million more or something going to OKC. Like, they just couldn't match it. And the guy, I don't think he wanted to leave, but he couldn't turn down that money. And Leon Rose has made a series of incredible decisions. I mean, he might have gotten a little lucky with Jalen. I mean, remember when Jalen first got here, we all thought we overpaid for him. But he's good, but he's not worth it. And he's turned into this superstar. Nobody saw that coming. Leon Rose and World Wide West have just made a bunch of decisions that have been great. But the fact that they were allowed to even make them is astonishing, because that just wasn't the case a bunch of years ago here in New York.
Hank, you're obviously a huge Knicks fan. When you see some of the celebrities that are sitting in the front row, they're sitting courtside at the Garden, do you ever say to yourself, man, I care so much more than that guy does?
Oh, all the time. Look, I think there was an article in the Post today that finally broke down what goes into being allowed sitting at courtside. And it's what you'd imagine. You do have to really be a Knick fan. They kind of draw the line there, unless you're dating either someone who's genuinely a Knick fan or is such a huge star that there's no way they're going to keep them out of the front row there. But yeah, but it's literally, it's kind of daunting, People applaud. It's like a popularity contest. People either really are into you or they're not once you go on the Jumbotron. Ben and I talk about this all the time. We dread the moment we're going up on the screen. We're like, oh God, I hope I get a decent response. Otherwise, they're not going to have me back next time, But I'm such a big fan that they're kind of happy to let you sit 10, 15 rows up. They have a nice little suite for folks sort of out of, and I kind of prefer that because it's a great view of the game and there's less pressure on you as a celebrity up there.
Hank, is it wrong for me to say I look at Ben Stiller now differently? I kind of lost respect for him because he just seems to be such a regular-ass Knicks fan. He's like all the people I grew up with, and I'm like, I wanted something more. I wanted a mystique around him. I want him to be cool courtside. Instead, he's jumping up with like the hype team in the tunnel and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I can't. I just don't have the same kind of pedestal for Ben Stiller that I once had.
What'd you want him to go all Jack Nicholson on you and sit there with his sunglasses on, not giving a shit? I mean, what's the guy supposed to do? God damn it. Yeah, I mean, look, you've been to the Garden, I assume, many times, right?
Yes, and I've sat courtside.
You know you can't help but freak out in there.
No, you were too quick on that.
What just happened?
Hank, they're upset.
Yes.
They're upset that you and I belong to a very
I'm
exclusive
glad
club.
you guys heard that too, because I think I just had a stroke. But anyway, go ahead.
They're upset that you and I belong to a very exclusive club. That's why.
I understand. They're jealous. People don't love you. You know, I'm sure you've discovered this. I just sat courtside at the Knicks. People aren't like happy for you. They're
Well, how does
jealous.
this work, though? When you and Stiller are talking about it, who do you look at and say, yes, that person is more of a Knicks fan than Ben Stiller is? What are the rankings?
Well, Spike, of course, is the top of that mountain.
Well, I don't know about
I mean, he goes to games out of town. He's everywhere.
You know where else he's at? At the Met Gala instead of going to the game. Yeah. Spike Lee, your number one fan status has been revoked.
Yes,
revoked. You're not the number one fan. If you're going to the Met Gala instead of doing this, revoked.
I see Chalamet at every game. Spike Lee.
And even when he couldn't make it, do you know what he did? Was he at the Met Gala? No. He was watching in a room on TV with his boys. That's what a number one fan does.
Chalamet.
Is that official?
Official. Revoked.
So who replaces him?
Well, no, it's open.
Tracy? Tracy Morgan?
Tracy Morgan's up there. Yeah.
Kendall was there.
Ben's up there because he's like a regular ass Knicks fan, and it really kind of disappoints me, but that is a pretty big fan then.
Yeah.
What do you want Ben to be doing? You don't want him to be excited? And is he just a little is he dorking out too much for your taste? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I look at McEnroe. McEnroe is like, that's how you do it. I'm a celebrity who loves the Knicks. Like, I'm New York. I'm cool, right? Ben is just a little, like I said, I have a good friend of mine. He's a music producer named Elite, and he's exactly like Ben Stiller. Like, it's almost like a child watching a child watch the Knicks, and I'm like, guys, come on, grow up a little bit.
You say this, but I think that you've had the sports fan knocked out of you because you love so much of the strategy. And I would say that the idea that, Hank, I don't know if this is just your friend. I thought it was weird that he sent me a quote. I didn't ask him for a quote, but the quote was, "He is him, he is the man, he is our captain." This guy has a toddler's love for this basketball team. It's a 4-year-old's love, and that's the best kind of love for a sports team. He'll be goofy with them because they allow him to be a child.
Yeah, probably say that quote because he loves you, Dan. I think he really wanted to be on, but he wanted to give you something. Ben's got a lot on him. He works real hard. And I'm happy for him personally that he has a thing that brings him that childlike joy, and if he wants to jump around at courtside at the Knicks, let him have his fun, man. Come on.
I'll tell you someone who wouldn't be jumping around courtside, Hank Azaria. You'd be cool courtside, wouldn't you?
I've been courtside many times. I think it depends on the game,
Why not Leroy? But Hank, I guess my point is you would carry yourself, even as excited as you were, even if you were jumping, it would be like a cool jump. It would Ben jumped like a child. Like, yay, guys, yeah. I'm like, come on, man.
More of a comment on your opinion on Ben's physicality rather than, his attitude at the Knicks game. I think you want Ben to just be a little more graceful than he is, perhaps.
I don't understand what you're doing. So Ben cares too much about the Knicks, so he can't be the number one fan. And Spike doesn't care enough because he does other things when the team's on the road, so he can't be a Knicks fan. You want a Knicks fan that's there but pretends to not be interested in the game at all, and that's the perfect Knicks fan?
Well, well, Goldilocks, I want someone who's there and projects a level of cool, right? Like, you're there, you're passionate. Chalamet, like, his resume is short. But in that short amount of time, what a star.
You ever seen
in
Dune?
That role. No, I'm not talking about his acting resume. I'm talking about his Knicks resume. His Knicks fan resume is short at this point, but he is spectacular, much like his acting resume. I think, like I said, McEnroe, he's got it. Tracy Morgan's got it.
You ever
Chris
seen
Rock.
Dune 2?
I gotta support my friend here. I think Ben, he's genuine. He's himself. It's awesome.
No, wait a minute.
He represents what the Garden is really like.
I'm with Hank on this, though, because you are hardened. You're out here criticizing the way that fans should feel about their team, the way they're supposed to behave, and what you're saying is pose and preen and be cool. Don't be yourself. Be the measure that I will find cool. I've lost respect for you, Ben Stiller.
I mean, I have. And also, by the way, it's not just this stuff. I follow him on Twitter, and, like, some of the stuff he does on Twitter is, like, again, it reminds me of my friends. And it's like, I don't want Ben Stiller to be like my friends. I want to be something greater than my friends. If anything, I think too highly of him. How about that?
Wow, you're turning it into a compliment now.
Absolutely. I love
Wasn't
Ben
he
Stiller.
at an award show watching a Knicks game on his phone?
That's good. That's a plus. That's a positive.
I'm sure he was. I'm amazed that Spike missed that game. I mean, he travels the country.
Well, he just had it revoked. How do you, Hank? Are you not going to argue with him on this?
No one's arguing this.
No one's arguing this. He's revoked it, and now it's time for a.
It's such an absurd notion that I don't think it merits even pushing back against. Anyone you filed this with, if you could do such a thing, would reject it out of hand. They wouldn't even. They wouldn't even look at it.
Well, when I present the facts, they'd be like, wait a second. Like, it's not like he missed it to go because he was on set filming Do the Right Thing too. We would be like, all right, got to work. You got to do your thing.
This part's egregious.
He missed it for the Met Gala.
It happens every year, the Met Gala.
Like what? So a bunch of people dress up all funny like? That's more important than watching the Knicks?
Hank, what is the Met Gala like? Because we were talking about
I've
it
never
the day
been.
after.
I
what?
proudly say, do I get some reverse song now?
I've proudly never been.
Hank Azaria, I hate charity.
Not true. No.
That's real. Whoa.
No.
I do almost nothing but raise money for charity, including sing like Springsteen everywhere. But,
You stumbled onto another.
There's so many little vocal stings now you guys have.
Yeah.
What has happened?
It's just
Why is it all about little songs?
It's a Wild Willy Wednesday. There's no controlling anything that's happening around here.
That's what that means. I wondered what that meant.
Billy Wednesday.
So he's allowed to toss in whatever little music he wants.
Yeah, he's out of control.
It's
I get you.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Hank. Do you know the name of a single person in here? I think you've mentioned the people, but you've been here. It's been so long since you've been here that I don't think you know any of the people you're talking to.
No, I've forgotten. Studio DLS Zoom phone number 2 and Studio 1 Zoom shot is what's coming through on my Zoom. And I've forgotten the folks' name I knew. There's some new faces.
I just introduced myself to you, Hank.
He just thinks you're bloated.
You're just you're not Stugotz.
I like that.
I know your name is John. I remember that it's John.
All right, good enough.
The Mets, do they have your heart more than the Knicks?
They kind of do, I've discovered in my old age. For some reason, baseball is with me more. I'm more of a, but don't get me wrong, I'm freaking out over the Knicks. I mean, absolutely. And I follow every year. I don't really miss a game.
So what's the best of it then? When you say New York hasn't felt like this, how much are you consuming? Are you have you gotten wrapped up in the run? Because it's not just that it's the Knicks and it's the beloved team. I don't know if the 69 Mets are this. I don't actually think the Knicks have a chance at the championship. But the fact that the people of New York do right now, the fact that the people of New York believe in their superstar and their executives, and I think their coach, although maybe not, they'll turn on him in a second if they lose in the next round. But I don't think that you've known what this feeling is. And I want you to describe what's happening around you and your friends in New York, where you all get to the escape hatch of this childishness.
Well, yes, it's great. We always have the Jets to bring us right back down to earth in case any of us are feeling things too much. And but honestly, the honest answer to your question is, it will take years for me to be before it wears off on me. Just the Knicks and Mets being relevant and good. Okay, let alone how well they actually do. That is still a joy for me. That we play meaningful late season games and are decent and in the conversation. It would take a couple of years for me to get frustrated and go, why isn't this team winning a championship? And it also was a little uncomfortable, especially as a Mets. I really get weird when the teams do well. I don't know how to be. I'm so used to just complaining about what's wrong with these teams. It's hard for me to switch gears and just be happy that they're doing well. Not to mention, these teams are, I meant when I said, like, these Knick wins, apart from the last one, have been heart attack. They've trailed by 14 points in every game, at least. I mean, it's really a series of heart attacks watching this team.
Apparently, the way to act is to jump up and down like a 6-year-old.
Is it that, as a Knick fan, do you need to just focus on something that bothers you? Are you proving my point? You can't just go with the joy. It's got to be finding what's annoying you about it, and that's where you're comfortable. Is that part of it for you?
Because if you don't find that, they're going to give you a reason to really be worried. That's the problem.
I see.
Disaster lurks right around the corner, and you just have to keep hope alive for long enough.
So this is like OCD behavior. You're focusing on this so you don't really worry about the bigger problem, which is when are they going to lose?
Hank, a little switching of gears here. I know you're a big Star Wars fan. You and I did a Star Wars podcast a long time.
Now I remember you. Yes, of course. Yeah.
You're Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, there you go. Have you been watching Andor?
No, I haven't. I heard it's good, though. I really liked season 1.
Season 2 is excellent. I was wondering, I'll ask you this question based off of season 1. There's some people who don't like adult Star Wars. How do you feel about trying to break through to people that, hey, not everything has to be, for a 6-year-old?
I assume by adult Star Wars, you don't mean like Star Wars porn.
Well, there are some risque storylines, including the opening scene of season 1. He walks into a brothel.
No, I kind of only like adult, like Rogue One and what Favreau did there with Boba Fett, because what we get now, continuing, the studio films, we argued about this. I think if it's coming back to me, you liked the prequels, which I don't understand, but no, I like the adult Star Wars when it's done well. Yeah.
Hank,
a lot.
Hank, we're going to let you go on this note, though, but I want to I just want you to answer these questions honestly.
Yes. There's Wild Billy.
This is sort of a Wild Billy Wednesday feature. Yes,
You know what this is? Would you attend their funeral music?
That's right. It's fun for the whole family. We're going to put you in the uncomfortable spot of, would you attend the funeral of Al Pacino?
Definitely.
Okay, you say that, but what if it's not in New York?
I mean, like literally, if I were invited, how would I handle that? If I had
I don't think you're invited.
Are there invites to
Wait, you got him crashing it?
Wait a minute, Pacino's an invite? Okay.
I think his would be. You got to RSVP.
Well, I don't know anybody close. Like, it's not like it would be organic to invite to like that I would go. Well, we're getting into inside baseball. There's memorials and there's funerals.
Yeah.
Like usually big actors, there's a kind of a private funeral. You talking about like the memorial?
Yeah, memorial.
I went too famous. I don't know how to play my own game.
How about Janine Garofalo?
Dan's got him like Will Ferrell in Wedding Crashers, just showing up to funerals.
Well, I made Al Pacino too famous because I don't think that if
you didn't. The Godfather did.
Also, Dog Day Afternoon.
I don't understand the spirit of the question.
All right,
what's the dilemma here?
The premise of the game is we're going to put someone so close to the line that you have to say publicly about that person that you would not attend their funeral because you're not close enough to them. But I played the game poorly because I haven't played in a while. It's Wild Willy Wednesday. I wasn't expecting that, and I just blurted Pacino.
Serpico.
I'd go to Pacino's funeral, even though I'm not particularly close to him, just out of respect. I mean, I'd be honored to be there. Say goodbye to the legend.
Would you go to Matthew Broderick's funeral?
Sea of Love also.
I know Matthew. Yes, I would go to Matthew's funeral. Absolutely.
What if the Knicks were playing?
Game got a little tougher.
You know, it would be a real dilemma whether I'd go to Matthew Broderick's funeral or the Met Gala. That would be like a real tough one.
Carlito's Way also.
What about Stugotz?
I would dance on his grave.
So yes is the answer.
So yes, but to dance on his grave.
Sensible woman.
Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, definitely. I love
Insomnia.
Hank.
Investment in my even if I wouldn't go. There's no investment in my saying, I would never go to that jerk's funeral.
All right, Richard Kind.
Devil's advocate.
Richard Kind is a dear friend. It's actually upsetting, the idea that he would pass away.
Mike
Of course I'd be there.
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy?
You weren't supposed to hear him. He's just been sprinkling in the background. See you later, Hank. Good seeing you, as always.
I really miss you guys. And maybe Brockmeyer will make a return soon in a more serious way on the show.
I would love that. If he's got any Pete Rose, I think I've disinfected the place, fumigated enough since the last time I asked the question. If you want to do any Brockmeyer opinions on Pete Rose, that can be the punctuation on what we've got here. I don't know why we'd keep up the funeral music.
Paul Reiser.
Oh!
Of course I would go to Paul's funeral. This is all very sad. This very sad little segment you have here, no matter what Billy plays. No matter what upbeat 70s dating game music you're playing.
The music's happy. It's impossible to be
Nathan
sad
Lane.
during that.
Of course love Nathan. Why would I not go to these
on
people?
Janine Garofalo. Let's circle back on that one.
Also love Janine.
Harvey
Why
Weinstein.
Thank you. I would not go to Harvey Weinstein.
We got it.
got
You got him.
I would absolutely not go to that.
Well, Bill.
Boy, oh boy. That was crazy.
The Pacers, I don't know. Last year it was the Mavs, and they get to the finals, and then they get throttled because historically, if you're a 4 seed, you're not as good as the 1 seeds. This sport historically has been pretty predictable. However, everything changes now. Last 5 years, I believe it's all a little less predictable than it used to be. And I believe the Pacers can beat anyone but OKC. And I believe all of us would be in agreement, unless maybe you guys think Minnesota or Golden State has a surprise, that the best challenge to OKC remaining is the one they're presently playing. That OKC's greatest challenge the rest of the way is winning one more game of their next 2, and everything will get easier for OKC after that because OKC has been a lot better than everyone all season, and Tatum was the only thing that was going to get in the way of that.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think Tatum was the threat that they're worried about. I think Minnesota look like they're going to win that series. They're up 3-1. They pose a problem because they're an incredible defense as well, and then they have that kind of stellar type of supernova in Anthony Edwards. And if you watch the second half of that game 4, he firmly took control of that series and said, look, I'm the best player here, and there's nothing you guys can do about it. So I don't think Oklahoma City breathes a sigh of relief after they get past Denver. I think they still have to worry about Minnesota probably. And then, hey, you know what? This is the question. Actually, I said this to Mike last night. The Pacers now they're in the conference finals 2 years in a row. Regardless of whether they win or lose, how does history remember these guys? Because at this point, it's not a fluke. It's not a hot run. They've done it 2 years in a row, and they've done it pretty much the same way. Tough, physical defense, smart play, and Tyrese Halliburton has been sensational.
All right, but can't you answer that question with what we saw from the Pacers 10 years ago? Like, what's the difference? How do you remember those Pacer teams?
I think those were more memorable, but they had more matchups, especially with the more key story in that sport. But to Amin's point, they also went to an IST final, however you want to downplay that. They got to a trophy final against LeBron James.
IST.
In season tournament. Yeah. They've done a fair amount of suffering already with this core.
You know, it's the NBA Cup now. Last year, though, was IST. So, but to the point, right? Like, if they make it to the finals, the Pacers, which is a very real reality now, which, by the way, Pacers Thunder finals, someone's
wake the kids up.
Right
It's
now.
Paul George. Paul George is the one that bricks.
Well, he's podcasting again, so he's fine.
As a man with a New York Knicks jersey tries and fails to replace back row Jess, there was a voice missed yesterday on the show deeply because this clown car needed somebody to make fun of this show pivoting to becoming Knicks fans, and thankfully Jessica has made herself available. If you heard any of this, I cannot imagine how much you were biting your own face wanting to yell at all of us in terrible disgust.
Yesterday was really embarrassing, Dan, for the show, for Mike, for you, for everyone. I was listening to, first of all, Mike has been sending me these like Knicks texts cheering on the Knicks for the last like 4 days now. So I don't know when this started, but I do not like it. I know you tried to explain it as like, oh, we're not Knicks fans. We're just rooting against Boston. It's not really what it sounded like to me. So with some help from some of our friends, I have a top 5 list for today's show of people who are allowed to celebrate a Knicks playoff run. And I'm hoping that you will realize that none of you are on this list and you will stop debasing yourselves.
Do you have any other commentary on yesterday that is missed before we get to that list? Because I imagine there's a lot left unsaid. I was searching for your voice somewhere in our fake fandom.
You were very mean to Chris, I would say.
Another text I got.
Yeah, Chris was like, what do you want to talk about tomorrow? And I was like, the Knicks stuff, obviously. And then later in Invisible Ink, also Dan was really mean to you.
I lashed out. I'm sorry, Chris.
You got condolence text yesterday.
Yes,
You're still with
multiple.
us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just return my calls, please.
I don't understand Invisible Ink text messages. What's it for?
It's for when you're saying something and you're like, ooh, if someone's reading this over this person's shoulder, they have a way to make sure that no one sees it. So they're like, ooh, this is something spicy. Let me wait till I'm somewhere where I can press down and read it and be like, ooh, okay, yeah. I don't want anyone else to see this.
Say something, I mean it. Whatever.
Well, okay. I would also like to add, this isn't from yesterday's show, but Amin's shrimp in a cake analogy, one of the greatest, I think, of all time in the history of the show, in describing some of Dan's requests. Very good analogy, Amin.
From one Knicks fan to another, thank you.
I'm not even a Knicks fan, okay?
Yes,
I'm not on this list.
You're here now. No, we're here now. Everything
honestly, I have very mixed feelings about this Knicks run because, yes, obviously I want my boyfriend to be happy, whatever. But he started this annoying bit where he jumps in the pool every time the Knicks win. And, it's just, why are you jumping in the pool?
He does that, too?
It's our thing. It's kind of our thing.
I've done that once. I can't wait to tell you guys the story. One time in my life.
Were you... Okay, can you tell us the story?
Yeah, tell us the damn story. Come on, man.
Suspense is killing us.
No, now that's like the actual perfect time to tell your story.
After a Knicks game?
When we're talking about jumping into a pool.
Was it celebratory? You just jumped in the pool.
I didn't want to interrupt what she was saying, and I interrupted what she was saying.
But you did, and then you left us with a cliffhanger.
All right, so what was the team? Oh, the Patriots, they were going to go undefeated. If indeed they went undefeated, I had to do some horrible thing where I talked to each of the 1972 Dolphins and wrote a column about each of them. And so when the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, preventing another team from being undefeated, I joyously threw my hat in the air and jumped into a swimming pool. It was just joy because I didn't have to do a ton of work.
Good story.
Not worth interrupting you, though.
But
I regretted it as soon as I said it.
You did say you can't wait till I tell his story.
You guys are
It would have been worse if you teased it out for 3 hours and then told us that story. So I'm glad we just got it out of the way.
There you go. Always producing.
Okay, OLI. This is, again, the list of people who can celebrate a Knicks playoff run. At one point in your fandom, Pablo Prigioni was legitimately the best option you had at point guard.
That's a tough name. Yeah, that's a...
Prigioni. Real Knicks fans know like us.
Taking your cookies.
Again, I'm not included in this list. I have another OLI, though. A glimpse of a photo of Rick Smith's stupid face will send you into a frothing fit of PTSD-fueled rage.
Bing bong.
I hate that light bulb head he had when he shaved his head.
Hate him.
There's a separate list of stupid faces, but we can get to that later. Now we're on to number 5. You had a Langston Galloway jersey.
Bing bong.
Wow.
I miss the fanfare. I hate this bing bong, whatever.
Bong.
It just doesn't feel as good as getting fanfare.
I'll give you fanfare if you want it.
Thank you, Chris. God. Number 4. You have a memory of Alexei Shved running a pick and roll at the Mecca of basketball.
Shved.
The
Pride and
fanfare.
joy of Cheska Moscow.
The fanfare helps.
Shved. This is number 3 now. You had arguments that nearly ended friendships over the inclusion of Timofey Mozgov in the deal for Carmelo Anthony.
Gave up too much.
Still a mistake. He was going to come in free agency anyway. They had the cap space. They didn't need to do all that.
Bing bong.
And you've had arguments about it, Amin. I can tell. Yes. Knicks fan. Number 2, you have personally sat and commiserated with Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos on the state of the franchise at the Old Paris Cafe. That one feels very specific. Yeah. And finally, number 1, you remember where you were when Andrea Bargnani tried to dunk from the foul line.
Oh, what a time that was.
Bing bong.
I think he hurt himself. It was not a good situation.
What a horrific stretch of a generational Knick basketball for those to be the arguments.
Bing bong.
What about when Mario Hezonja dunked on Giannis Antetokounmpo? That was a time.
I thought he was going to be good.
Make your own list. Also, so I'm happy for the Knicks. I love Timothy. I heard the other day someone call him the patron saint of city kids. I mean, I don't know if you can I don't know if you agree with that. That's a big praise to give Timothy, but I'm happy for the Knicks. I think if they do end up winning the series, and I don't see the Celtics winning 3 in a row, I guess I do kind of see it because all the things I just said in the list could happen to the Knicks again. But the Pacers, if the Pacers and the Knicks play in the next series and Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan are on the call, that would be a bad time for Knicks fans, I think. So there may be still a lot of pain ahead.
Well, Jessica, first off, I don't know why you said if the Pacers and the Knicks play in the next round. It's not like the Celtics are coming back.
Because I gave the caveat, something really bad could still happen to the Knicks. There's 3. I think Knicks fans all have PTSD, right? I also say all of this with the caveat that I know the fans are sick of Knicks talk. So I'm sorry, everyone.
Also, Jessica, I want to apologize to you because you said Timothy is the patron saint of city kids, and I thought you meant Timofey Mozgov. And I was kind of confused, but I was like, I'm going to yes and. Yeah, sure, I can see there are a lot of Russians in the city. And I was like, why is she going on this Mozgov tangent? And then it hit me like, oh, she means Chalamet.
Yeah, sorry.
You described him as a patron saint, and I believe in the past you've been described as unapologetically Catholic. How do you feel about a Chicago Pope?
Billy, the quote from Dan was Catholic to my core.
Oh.
Chicago Pope was probably the most memorable day of my entire life. Just all of it. The memes, the jokes, the disbelief, the informing Chicago people. Why is David Sampson wearing a Pope? Oh, because he's in charge of Meadowlark now? I get it.
No, he wants to be Pope of Meadowlark. We can't let him do it.
Well, it's an election. We gotta see what the smoke says.
Are we?
We should do it. We should do that. I mean, that's a good idea. The College of Meadowlarks, like where the birds were cardinals. Get it? Because they're birds. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
Workshop that. Yeah.
You're gonna have Stugotz host a conclave, but he's a con man.
Are we ready for an American Pope? Because as soon as he was named Pope, I saw what happened was they're like, let's find out what his brother was up to on Facebook. And I was like, I don't know if we should have a Pope from America.
Yeah. Have you met us? I was shocked when I heard the news, and I told my parents, and I'm staying with my parents right now because we haven't moved into our apartment yet in New York, but my parents were like, he's not American. They wouldn't elect an American Pope. And I'm like, he's actually from Chicago too. And they're like, no, he's not. But they did say when they announced he was the new Pope, he's the least American, which is kind of a hilarious way to insult the rest of Americans. But yes, there he is at the World Series game at Kaminsky Park.
Wait, which one is he?
The one on the phone, he's calling in to God and saying, please, this is going to be the only moment of joy this fan base feels for my entire life. Please let the White Sox win this game.
This is going to sound dumb, but somehow a Pope using a cell phone is such a mind F for me right now. Like, what? The Pope had a cell phone? What year are we in?
2005.
The Buck Rogers future is where we're at.
Kelsey Grammer doesn't feel American, even though he is.
What?
Do you remember when he fell off the stage at that one event and just like ate? That was a funny YouTube video back in the day. It was like the grape stomping lady, but it was Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, the grape stomping.
It's just I don't understand where the accent came from.
What does he feel like to you?
He
That's like
feels
Johnny Depp.
British.
He's from Broward, but he
feels
pretends
like-
he's French or whatever.
Yeah,
Get out of
kinda-
here, Johnny Depp, please.
Kind of feels like British.
Him
A
and,
little bit.
and Nigel from the show. I don't know his real name.
David Hyde Pierce.
Oh, yeah, him.
Wow, I've got like a depth of Frasier knowledge.
Wow, what's the name of the dog?
You got me.
Okay.
I guess I'm not. My bad.
Isn't it
Isn't as deep.
Frank? Oh, is that their dad? Someone's named Frank.
The dad
Frank
was Frank.
Frazier.
The dad. By the way, that's probably what Kelsey Grammer's dad is like, right? Like just like an all-American guy, and then he's got a son who talks like this.
Billy,
Yes.
Billy, can you help me with why it is that that you're Pope obsessed?
Why am I Pope obsessed? How am I Pope obsessed? I was trying to come out here and give you guys all of the news while the papal conclave was going on. It was a big story in the world, so I was letting you guys know. And Jess is, unapologetically Catholic, as we've discussed, and also she's, when you think of Jess, you think Chicago, and New York, and South Bend, and Pittsburgh. And just a number of different places, but Chicago's one of them. So I thought maybe she crossed paths with, the Pope in Chicago or something at some point.
Billy, I never crossed paths with the Pope prior to him becoming the Pope. However, he was born at the hospital my grandpa worked at. My grandpa was a chemist. Yeah, so maybe their paths crossed, which is crazy to think because when you grow up Catholic, there's one thing really that you're sure of. And well, two things. One, that you should feel guilty all the time. And two, that the Pope is never going to be from America. And he's certainly not going to be from Chicago, of all places. I am glad he's from Chicago, though, because imagine how annoying like Philadelphia fans would be if he was from Philly or like Boston people. Like at least Chicago, we can make funny like hot dog jokes and Malort jokes.
What does a chemist do in the hospital?
We're very confused.
Like, was it like the 1900s?
I did not know that they housed them in the hospital.
Yeah.
We're having an argument right here that what does a chemist do in a hospital that's different from what a pharmacist would do in a hospital?
Because then he's not a chemist; he's a pharmacist.
Yeah.
All I know about my grandpa's chemistry career was that at one point he was a chemist in a lab working down the hall from where LSD was first invented.
Yeah, your grandfather invented
so
LSD.
Yeah.
Your grandfather's a bad guy.
That's what
I think it's fair to
drug,
say.
Breaking Bad.
Drug dealer.
Yeah. Your grandpa sucks.
At Le Batard Show, does Jessica's grandpa suck? And at Le Batard Show, what the hell, Johnny Depp? Please get out of here, please. Like, why
This
are you
is
doing
the
that to-
grandpa. Sorry, Dan. This is also the grandpa who never gave my grandma roses that she was talking about in that one Flowers voicemail. So
That was like a bad guy.
we had no
He's making
greater failure around here than not yet turning your grandmother into a star. Like, do you guys have the sound? Because Grandma came in here, and she endured Grandpa. It sounded like.
well, I mean, I don't want to speak ill of my grandfather, but my grandma, she seems like a hoot, right? She seems like she thinks that a lot of things are funny and she's very humorous. Well, my sister sent our big family group chat last Thursday when the Pope was announced, an Onion article about like the Vatican elects first Chicago-style Pope, and it was a Photoshop of the Pope in a bun with, tomatoes and sport peppers and whatever relish, like he was a Chicago-style hot dog. And my grandma just responded to the whole group, like our entire 35-person group chat, not funny.
Oh,
Yikes.
wow. Wow, she didn't take kindly to the Chicago jokes, huh?
Holy crap. She did not like the Pope jokes. I don't think it was.
Oh.
Well, although that's a good question. Maybe she was offended on behalf of the hot dog, not the Pope. I'll have to follow up on that.
You guys remember when the Pope's official Instagram account was liking thirst traps a couple years ago?
That's why you had to get rid of the last one.
Yeah, you never.
Are you
know
sure
what
you're not
IG.
confusing him with Ted Cruz?
No, it was a thing that happened. It was like a big story. The Pope likes like Instagram models thirst traps. Speaking of thirst traps, Dan, I don't know if you saw this. Have you ever heard of Yellowstone National Park?
Yes, Billy.
Well, Yellowstone National Park, apparently they're losing funding, and they've resorted to, and I was talking to Jess about this beforehand. Yeah, apparently they're losing funding, and they've resorted to posting thirst traps on TikTok, hoping that they go viral, and then they can raise funds for their national parks through the help of hunky men.
Oh, I thought you meant thirst traps with like the animals. Like it would be like Yogi Bear.
No, that's like something Ron
poking
pays
it out.
for.
Like Bear Week.
Yeah, a thirst trap there would be like a geyser, like a hot spring, because like, oh, there's some water, but it's a trap because it sprays you in the face with water that'll melt your face off. Also, one thing that I don't like about Instagram is like I followed you for science reasons.
Me?
And no, like like certain accounts. Like I was following like a Curb Your Enthusiasm account, and then all of a sudden it's like softcore porn.
It's just porn.
And then I was like, oh, alcohol facts. That seems like a fun follow. And for
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
all of a sudden, jugs.
What are you talking about?
That doesn't happen to you? Like
Happens
where,
all the time.
Where IG accounts like change, like they sell, and all of a sudden there's like a butthole.
Is this
like,
a Whitlock
on your
situation?
Feed. No. They
Meme
switch.
accounts sometimes change themes.
Yeah.
No, but they don't change the title. Like so, the Curb one I follow too, and it was like it's always these clips from Curb, and like, haha, remember when Larry did this? Remember when Larry did that? And all of a sudden, there's like a school teacher, and it's like boing, everything pops out. Like, what the hell's
I'm
going
trying
on
to check
here?
my phone here in public, and you got like there's a butthole.
And
there's
it shoots
a butthole.
shoots to the top of my feed. It's not even me scrolling.
No,
it's like
I swear to God, I
just
didn't do
open
this.
Instagram.
I don't do this. I don't like. You can do my Discover page.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
don't do mine.
I like that, Mike. This is smart of you to get ahead of whatever your wife is going to find later on your phone. This is actually
I'm
really good.
this is
You're
a
putting this
thing.
out publicly now, and this is the explanation. And it's a smart move.
I mean, I granted my ally is Amin, but this happens all the time.
Well,
Like,
he has to zoom in to make sure if it's science or not. Like it's the whole thing.
Wild Billy Wednesday.
I'm going to go take a victory lap on something. I'm going to leave this to you
Not
guys.
the Thunder, I hope. You don't deserve a victory lap.
You turn
You
your
know what?
ankle, and then you never return.
This is what we need. Dan, I'm gonna tell you, we don't need a victory lap for you. We need a loser's lap. You got to do a loser lap in there.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Careful, you hurt your ankle yesterday.
Yes, I did. But I have I have something that I feel like I can be victorious on. I will leave you to your own devices for a moment.
Don't take it
Sweet.
personally, Jess, that he's leaving as soon as you're back.
My grandma will be thrilled.
It's not you.
She doesn't like Dan that much when she listens to the show.
Jessica.
Why are you afraid of mercury poisoning?
Me?
Yeah.
Because Billy, Lehman's been out of town the last few days, and when you start dating someone who knows how to cook, you realize, I just don't cook anymore. But then when they go out of town, you realize like, ooh, I don't know what I'm gonna eat, and I know basically how to cook like 2 things. And so for the last 6 days, I've just been eating cans of tuna. And I'm starting to wonder at what point I should be concerned, because apparently there's mercury in cans of tuna, and it takes a long time for your body to process out mercury.
Yeah, you're dead.
So how much tuna reasonably can I eat?
Jessica,
Can I eat it every day?
I think I gave you too much credit because I thought the story was going, Lehman's out of town, so me and my best friend Priya have been going out and eating sushi every night in the fanciest places, and I'm like, wow, you got to watch out for mercury poisoning from all that sushi. And instead it's like, no, I'm eating cans of tuna like a bachelor, like a sad bachelor.
I mean, it's so gross. I put like plain tuna on a piece of toast with like a little squirt of mayonnaise, and that's my lunch. Also, have you guys noticed this protein trend that like everything has like added protein in it now? That can't be healthy, right? You don't need 100 grams of protein every day. You need like what, like 20, 25?
If you take like 40, so like I'm big into fitness now, and that's also my algo until it turns into jugs.
Porn,
yeah, but like if you have like 40 grams of protein right before bed, it can increase your muscle mass.
I saw that.
Yeah, like
is that true?
40 grams.
And also cold plunges are bad for you, which is what I've always maintained. Like there's no way the cold plunge craze is actually good for you.
What?
No, it reduces muscle mass.
Well, no, what the cold plunge is all about. It's all about like extracting the lactic acid from your muscles, right? You're going hot, cold, and
I thought it helped
which
with
is never
circulation.
good. No, it's none. It's all bad for you.
I thought it was good for your vagus nerve. Yeah, I feel like the cold plunge is like tuna in that it's probably okay in moderation, but I'm wondering what is moderation for me. Like I'm not that big of a person. I'm about 6'1", 125. How much tuna reasonably can I eat in a week? And how often should I be cold plunging? Because it's probably fine a little bit.
So the FDA recommends that adults eat up to 12 ounces of canned light tuna per week.
Wow, 12 ounces a week? Wait, how much comes in a can?
Not a lot. I would say probably less than that, but not much.
You worried about like microplastics and like.
Got to be
Well, I don't have
careful, Jess.
balls.
Yeah, they're gonna go. To
I
your
thought the
balls.
microplastics were in the balls.
No. They were found in the balls too, but I'm sure they're found all over the body.
Wait, I thought you meant the microplastics came in little balls, not they were literally found in the balls.
No, I'm not
I think
sure
it's
what they look
both.
like.
Yeah.
So wait, if they're in the balls, how do they get out?
Apple pectin.
Huh?
Do apple pectin. I'm telling you.
Do
apple
you-
a day.
Apple peg what?
Do you eat a whole? Do you eat a whole can of tuna? Because
Yeah, and it's not enough.
Ounces.
I would eat 2 cans if I was not worried about mercury
That's like your
poisoning.
weekly serving. If it's 12 ounces, a can's like 5 ounces.
A week?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah, you're
Christ.
dead. Sorry. It's nice knowing you. Bad news.
That's
Hank
not
Azaria is not going to your funeral. Can Hank Azaria cheer for the Knicks?
I think he probably fits one of those criteria. Mike doesn't. That list was for Mike.
No. I get to be a Knicks guy for this round. I do.
No.
I'm as passionate as anybody you know about the Knicks for this
That's
round.
not. I
Yes.
mean, only in the way that you're passionate about like things where you sort of like swoop into a thing and then you really, really like it for like a week.
Like stocks.
Like brain pills or whatever
Oh, Alpha
thing you
Brain.
were on it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I switched to Elite Brain and I'm out, but I'm still doing the Lion's Mane.
Didn't you have an
Those are
Obi
working.
Toppin?
Yeah, how's that top hat
That's
doing?
still,
Yeah,
that's still
NFTs,
there.
that's
way
another
back.
one.
That's still
Yeah.
there for you.
Big time Knicks fan.
Jess, I really
It should be at a peak right now, right? They're in the conference finals.
Sell.
Yeah, it's business isn't exactly booming there.
Why?
Jess, I've actually really missed you this week because Miami got the number one
Aw.
recruit in the nation,
Oh.
and I learned on social media that Miami has more money than both Oregon and Georgia combined. Why is this narrative perpetuated by schools that lose recruiting battles? Because Miami is a school that is private with a student body of like 18,000 with one of the worst broadcast sports deals ever. But anytime a recruit goes to Miami, it's always because they have more money than, Georgia.
Mike, you need to stop being triggered by people on the internet. That's my
It's the
take on
programs.
that.
Well,
Just be happy. You got the number one recruit in the country. Like, woohoo, yay, Miami.
Well, I did have the number one recruit in the country, and upon committing to Miami, he already slid like 4 spots, which is also something that happens. But
that does happen all the time.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
okay,
I just get really bothered by all these other schools putting this out there. Like, oh, we didn't lose this recruiting battle because, Alex Mirabal is really good at developing offensive linemen. It's because Miami has more money than us. Who believes this? Why do people perpetuate this? Why is there this narrative that Miami and their broadcast deal have more money than Phil Knight? It makes no sense. And
probably because Carson Beck is driving like several stolen Lamborghinis, or not that he stole, but I know, and he got them at Georgia. Mike, just call them poor and move on. I don't know. You missed me so that you could find an entryway to talk about Miami to then make me upset. Okay, I got it.
Yes,
Well,
that's our
don't-
dynamic, Jess. That's what I miss about us.
I also want to point out that last night, maybe I'm revealing confidences here, but Mike proudly said that U is going to whoop up on Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, we're going to kick their ass.
Wow.
Like he said it with lots of
They
confidence.
would replace their defensive line with guys that took a break from football and are recovering from knee injuries. Like
I think Dan's ready, guys.
Who? Jason Onye and Gabe Rubio?
Just
Is that-
running.
I think Miami's going to beat
Just
that
running.
ass.
He's not running hard enough.
He's there for a second, then Izzy was there.
It's May. I guess this is all you have in college football right
You got to
now.
run harder. Run
That
harder,
and Bill
Dan. I
Belichick.
want you out of breath.
You see what's happening as soon as I leave the room? Mike goes
He is out of breath. Wow.
goes right to the UM talk as soon as I leave the room.
Tried to tell you not to leave the room, pal.
Okay. Well, what's happening right now seems unfair to me because you guys say this is a loser lap and not a victory lap.
Are you in a church?
I think they were just saying that because you're doing it, which is not nice.
Okay. Well, so
Zaz
you guys
said it.
You guys tell me then. You make a ruling here whether I'm right or wrong. And I'm sorry, I've been running so long that my pants are beginning to fall. So if
Not a lot of people run while holding their glasses like that.
Well, I've been running for about 9 minutes here, nonstop, and that's
About time.
Yeah, that's the way we're supposed to do this. And
So you've gone about a quarter of a mile.
and my pants are falling, so there's the chance that the belt isn't going to hold up throughout the rest of this. But you tell me whether I'm right or wrong, okay?
On this bit, or
not on the bit, on what the question I'm about to ask.
Okay.
And the question is, are you indeed unapologetically Catholic if your grandma doesn't allow Pope jokes?
Wait, no.
Huh?
Wait, yes.
I think her grandma
That's
is?
the definition of unapologetic Catholic.
So Jess is unapologetically Catholic then, right?
I mean, I was like raised Catholic. I don't go to church anymore.
Don't apologize, Jess.
hold
You're
on.
unapologetic.
Are you
about your
apologetically Catholic? Is that what's happening?
Don't apologize.
I think you've apologized for the Catholic Church plenty.
Also,
I don't think I need to.
Also, isn't apologizing
why
the
would I
biggest thing a Catholic
You got to
do?
apologize for the Catholic Church.
She
you
can.
have to.
She's unapologetic.
You must.
But I
You
mean,
must.
I don't. Okay, I
have
don't want to
to.
get into
Dan,
my
you can't eat more than
spiritual
3
beliefs
cans of
with
tuna
you.
a week. We discovered while you were out. It's too much mercury poisoning.
Well, Dan can't eat tuna anyway.
You know the International Church
I
of
can
Satan
eat- I can
has
eat tuna.
0 sexual assault allegations on record.
Good job, Mike.
What? Dan, I thought about you the other day because I saw that one of your favorite tequilas is being sued in a class action lawsuit for using artificial things that I don't think would be good for you.
I don't think this topic would be good for us either.
I don't think so either. Wild Billy Wednesday.
It's not one of our sponsors.
Well, Dan's favorite
Precisely.
tequila is Cuervo, and Cuervo's not in any lawsuits. So what are you talking about, Billy Gal? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Not his favorite.
I don't like additives. Additives are bad.
Also, Dan, it was Catholic to my core, not unapologetic.
Okay, but so are you Catholic
So
to your
no.
core? Are you Catholic to your core if your grandmother won't allow Pope jokes?
I would say she is definitely Catholic to her core and unapologetically Catholic. Yes.
Yeah, I think the grandma not allowing Pope jokes is the most Catholic thing you can be. So that would confirm that you like. Usually, when are you such and such if this happens, they have to be opposites, right? Like, are you Catholic to your core if you don't observe Lent? That's the way that setup kind of works. The way you're doing it is, are you Catholic to your core if this Catholic to your core thing is happening? Well, yeah, it is.
And the point is that I'm just right. That's the point. The point is just that I'm right.
Well, about my grandma, yeah.
Catholic to your core sounds like a workout routine run
A
by
Pilates
like Catholic.
class.
Yeah, or like a thirst trap account of
And they have-
Catholics.
it's like a shirtless dude, but he has the priest collar
exactly
on,
right. Catholic to his
Ooh.
core.
Do
We're saving Yellowstone.
Do 10 reps of shame.
Rosary counts, right? Like right, doing like 1, 2, 3. I don't know how to
But
count.
it's
on
like
a
the
rosary.
chains, but it's rosary.
You say Hail Marys on the beads, and then I think you say the Our Father on the big beads.
The
My
Hail
grandma
Mary.
does that on the plane every time she flies somewhere.
Does
it's
she?
very jarring. Yeah, and it makes everyone really anxious.
Yeah,
It's like,
because
why are
it's
you
like-
praying the rosary right now?
And what's he praying for?
Jess, can I ask you about yesterday's big NBA story? I argued that it was Jason Tatum. That was a massive story, but a lot of people picked, we put this on the poll, and it was Nico securing the number 1 pick. And this was
I do
great.
want to talk about this. Yes, tell me what you think.
This was, my whole takeaway is I don't know why the NBA keeps doing this with this lottery, because their whole argument for it is to prevent tanking. It doesn't do that. And all it leaves them with, granted, there's theater, and they probably love the attention that it got yesterday, but you have something that doesn't stop what it's designed to stop, and it just leaves a whole bunch of NBA fans saying this is rigged. So I'm very confused as to what the benefits are of this thing.
I'm sort of confused about So I was one of those people that when I found out the Mavericks won, I was like, it's rigged. And then I thought about it and I was like, but why? So I'm sort of confused now what the argument is for why the NBA would rig it so that the Mavericks would get the number 1
Because
pick.
apparently if you help Los Angeles,
Chris Paul,
you get rewarded.
Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic.
So they just decided though, like in the last few weeks when the Mavericks became eligible to be in the lottery and have, I guess, like that. When did they decide to do this?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter. They could have decided the morning of. Like they decided to rig
It
it.
does matter because it's a bad conspiracy theory because I don't understand it.
Right. That's precisely all conspiracy theories that gain traction, apparently. Like, yeah, they tend to defy logic.
Look, I don't want to divert audiences elsewhere, but if you want to do conspiracy theory talk, Basketball Illuminati has you covered. We covered this exhaustively, and it's not the lazy, it's because they traded Luka. Like, we've got math involved. We've got numbers. You don't want to miss a thrilling new episode of Basketball Illuminati wherever you get podcasts.
I mean, I do want to get into it though, because I was listening to Tom on Bomani's podcast earlier, and also I was listening to he had Zach Lowe on also, and Zach Lowe was talking about sort of the injury stuff in the NBA. Like it's almost a certainty that you're going to have some sort of injury like this now, and there's a number of reasons why perhaps that's the case, and maybe it comes back to workload and youth sports especially, and I think that that's really interesting too. But back to, I mean, your point. So can you just sort of break down the actual conspiracy and why it would make any sense for the NBA to rig the draft lottery for Dallas?
Well, this is the easy explanation why it's not rigged, right? Is
prison.
Yes, that's why. They're in the lottery happens in a back room, right? Like what we see on TV, that's not the lottery. That's the lottery results that they create a TV show around, right? The actual lottery happens in a back room, and there's a representative from every team that's in the lottery. There's Ernst & Young who are doing the accounting, and then there's NBA security, and then there are also media members there.
It's like a half dozen journalists.
Yeah, like Ben Golliver, for instance,
people
is
like
always
me,
back
yeah.
there. Yeah, well, not people like you, actual journalists. So anyways.
Right, and Golliver also wrote in his story, he had a quote from a Mavs executive who was like, I can't believe that this happened. Like, I've been working on the draft lottery in this process and been dealing with conspiracy theories my whole career, and now, like, basically there's the subject of one. But go on, Amin.
One of the prevailing theories, Amin, is you have a brand new owner that just paid $3.5 billion for this franchise and immediately nuked it as one of the first actions of their ownership reign. So it's kind of like a make good.
Well, see, okay, so by the way, the exec you're talking about is Rick Welts. Rick Welts, I work with him in Phoenix. Rick Welts is the guy that invented All-Star Weekend. Rick Welts was instrumental in the invention of USA Basketball. He was supposed to be, at one point, they were saying he was going to be the next commissioner of the NBA. So shout out to Rick Welts. But yeah, he's someone who's had to deal with conspiracy theories when he worked in the NBA all the time, and now he's on the opposite end of it. But to finish what I was saying about that room, like I said, the people were in there, and then the way it works is there are 1,001 different combinations. 1,001. So when they say someone has a 14% chance, really what they mean is there are 140 different combinations that are pre-assigned, right? And then you just wait and see what balls come up. We've had years where people I believe there's a year where the Spurs kept winning it, right? Like they won the top 3 picks.
Because they draw number one first.
Yes.
They should be allowed to do that, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You get all
Just
the
have
picks.
the lottery be like all one team.
I'm on the Ernst & Young Wikipedia page, and there's an entire section dedicated to accounting scandals, audit practices, exam cheating by audit professionals, investment banking, sexist training program.
You don't think they're risking their
that
firm over Cooper Flag?
I'm saying it seems as though this firm has a sordid history in which it seems as though in the past there's been malfeasances.
Yeah, I would say that this is one of their higher profile accounts, and I'd say that they would risk it for that, given that they have this in their past. Like,
and I would say I'm still waiting for an explanation why this would be worth rigging for the Mavericks. Please, Amin.
The reality is, this is like when people say, oh, the only reason why X team won was because everyone got injured. You should put an asterisk on it. And the reality is, when you go through the history of the NBA, every champion has an asterisk. Same thing here. Any team that would have won, we would have been like, oh, of course. If San Antonio had won, we would be like, oh, of course. They always win it. If Philly had won, like, oh, of course. They're trying to, like, get them because of...
Yeah, there was a moment where the top 4 teams that were vying for the number 1 overall pick, everybody outside of Charlotte, I was like, this is rigged.
Right. 3 of the 4 were, like, interesting scenarios.
Yeah, it was like San Antonio, that's rigged. Philly, definitely rigged. And then it went to, like, one of the most rigged options.
I mean, if the NBA wanted to interfere with Dallas, wouldn't they just try to interfere to get Nico fired because he's a bad executive? And that
is he? He just got them the number 1 overall pick. What are you doing?
He didn't do anything.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He's traded a superstar to LA. That's how you do it.
He agreed to follow the league's. He agreed to follow the league's orders to send Luka to LA.
Called one team.
See, now you've lost me again. It's the best conspiracies are the simplest, have the simplest premise, I think. This one is a little too convoluted for me.
Well, didn't you see the video of Adam Silver at Duke, and one of the graduates yelled at him, Adam, help out my Mavs. We're going through it right now. And he looked at him and he smiled and kept walking. I mean, smoking gun?
Then he winked and, like, pointed at him, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I like how LeBron, remember when he was on McAfee, and LeBron...
Billy Wednesday.
Why are
LeBron
you the
continues
Joker?
insinuating, that the draft is rigged. And LeBron, Amin just explained, there's 1,001 different combinations. They draw 4 balls that all have numbers on it. And whatever that combination is, you look in a big booklet, I got it, bingo. And LeBron on McAfee talking about how the draft lotteries are, when the ball pops out and says Cleveland, no clue how it works.
Zaz, this is the plight of so many NBA players that they don't know about how this league works. Not how the salary cap works. Not how trades work. Not how the draft lottery works. Not how polls work. Not how awards work, right? They don't know. Like LeBron, I guarantee you, when he was on all the guys who said, this guy was overrated, he thought probably fans voted that. He didn't even realize it was players. By the way, Rachel Nichols did the math.
No, definitely media people, because media people are lame.
Right.
It's the media that voted
But
him
this
overrated.
is my favorite thing. Rachel Nichols did the math. It was what the percentage of people who said Tyrese Halliburton was overrated, and then how many players responded in the poll.
Yeah.
Comes out to 13 guys.
Yeah, in the whole league.
13 NBA players said he was overrated. That's what we've been running with this whole time.
And one of them was definitely LeBron.
One of them absolutely was LeBron. Jessica, come on. Come on. I'm just trying to figure out who did this, right? Him in the hot dog costume right there.
Okay, Amin, I do want to ask you another question, though. How screwed are the Celtics moving forward? Because I know, they obviously still have a lot of talent left on that team, but with the new CBA and Tatum being out probably for all of next season, if I had to guess, he's obviously still really young. What do you expect them to do now?
So they already, before the injury, were dealing with, what are they going to do? Because the money is incredibly high, and then they got new ownership, right? So those things were already coming in. Now you got Tatum is out. Tatum's going to be out for an entire year. This is the recovery time for a ruptured Achilles. So how good are they going to be as is? I guess we'll get a taste of that tonight. We'll see what it looks like when Tatum isn't out there. But there was already whispers that they're going to have to start making some moves. Maybe those whispers turn into yells and screams. Wailing.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations are brought to you by Miller Lite.
That's awkward.
What happened?
It's just awkward. It's my boy Stu, and then it's not Stu. It's you.
By my boy you.
Yeah. Doesn't really work.
Dan, he had a rough start to the series. But like any great player, with their backs against the wall, he rose to the occasion, facing 23 shots and saving every bleeping one. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, after a shutout, playoff Bobrovsky is back.
It's my dog. Let's go.
Celtics shooting 50% from 3 this series in their win and under 30% from 3 in their losses. You know what they say, Dano? You live by the 3, you die by the 3. And the Celtics are dying.
Yes.
Knicks deserve to lose for wearing an alternate jersey at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. You don't wear Navy uniforms in your biggest game of the season. What happened to just wearing white at home?
Dude, I don't know what the Pacers uniform is anymore.
Just wear white. Home team wears white. Why are we complicating things? No beeps, okay. Boston Celtics, the rare season that ends along with next season too. Tough break for old Jason Tatum, huh?
Is that what we're doing? I know it's a tough injury to come back from. I know he won't get back till late next season, but we're going to knock 2 seasons out with that injury?
They're done.
Yeah.
They're done. Unless they trade for Giannis. No beeps. The M in Mikal Bridges stands for mid-range. Mid-range, lost art. Top 5 mid-ranges in NBA history. Ooh. OLI, Tyrone Hill, 18-foot pick and pop. Number 5, Chris Paul.
I've already got a problem with this list.
Number 4, Richard Hamilton. Rip. Number 3, DeMar DeRozan. Number 2, Michael Jordan. Number 1, Sean Livingston.
I agree with your number 1.
He never missed.
I agree. Your number 1 is perfect, actually, ahead of Michael Jordan.
It was an amazing stat. Sean Livingston never missed a mid-range jump.
Not once. Don't look now. Here come the Cardinals.
Which ones? The ones in Rome?
UFL, the Showboats, 1-6, minus 93-point differential. Hey, Showboats, maybe it's time for a name change. Showboat be sinking.
I mean, it was tough to survive that Ken Wisenhunt stepping down right before the season started.
Showboats, sink it fast. Top 5 sunken boats. OLI, USS Arizona. Thank you for your service. Number 5, the ship from Robinson Crusoe. Number 4, the SS Minnow. Number 3, the Black Pearl. Number 2, the Showboats. Number 1, Titanic. Panthers, Maple Leafs, we're waiting. Series hasn't started yet, Dan.
Get out of here. So
It hasn't started.
What if it goes 7 games? The home team wins every game. These series never happen?
Wouldn't have started then. We'll still be waiting. Nobody.
What are you not understanding about this?
It's dumb.
Zaz?
It's a dumb saying.
What do you mean it's dumb? It was authored by that seat. What do you mean that seat says that's a dumb saying?
He did not invent that.
I mean, it's dumb. I almost puked in games 3 and 4, and you're telling me that this series hasn't started?
Hasn't started yet.
This show did actually invent something, though, which is the Wake the Kids Up game.
You can't say
which is OKC versus Sirs in
Wake
the
'em
final.
up!
Wake those kids up. Do not put those kids to bed.
We do that in my house.
Let them watch.
We do that in we have Wake the Kids games.
Let the
in my
boys
house.
watch.
Let the boys
Let
the
the boys watch.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, kills a puck in the corner like the Florida Panthers.
That's
Hell
the
yeah.
truth.
Absolutely.
I loved it. In game 3, like the ovation
was
that
great.
the crowd gave with like a minute 30 left.
Everybody giving the elbows. Like,
Oh.
you remember when they did that in game 7?
It's so beautiful.
Better than porn.
You're like,
Nice.
Easy.
Billy, wouldn't you agree
Give me
that
started
it's
on
sort
that.
of a pathetic thing to be great at, like proud of? Like, we can keep you in the corner for 90 seconds like
Yeah.
nobody's
We're the
business.
best
you win
at kneeling
games.
the football.
Trap that puck right up against the wall.
Billy, do I have it wrong when I say that the greatest moment from last season was those last 90 seconds
McDonough on
in
the
that
call.
corner?
McDonough.
12 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh
to
my
go.
God. Better than porn.
No,
I
it's not.
remember that.
No, porn's
for
great.
those who don't.
Porn's great.
Nothing is more Florida than chanting USA with only 4 Americans on your roster.
I'm surprised we have
We
four.
have 4?
Honestly.
Name them, Zaslow.
Austin Matthews must have been so mad when the crowd here chanted USA.
Who are the 4 Americans on the Panthers?
Kachuk? I know we got Kachuk.
Yeah, that's a one.
That's the one.
I don't think. Is there another one? Wait, is like AJ Greer American? That I don't like.
Seth Jones?
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones.
Jones.
Yeah,
that's
Popeye
true.
Jones.
Popeye,
Yeah.
Popeye Jr. yeah. I get the Rockies. We're 7-33, but you can't fire Bud Black minutes after a win. Let him have the night.
It's a good bounce back.
Bud Black, great name for a baseball manager. Also, Bud Black, great name for a weed strain. Smoking that Bud Black. SEC softball championship was canceled for weather, and Oklahoma and Texas A&M were declared co-champions. Hey SEC, if you have 2 champions, you have none.
The arms race and NIL for softball is insane.
Nate Schmidt.
Is he American?
Yeah. Maggie Samus-Gebbage.
No, there's
Yeah,
no way.
He's right about
Yeah.
that too.
Mackey?
Oh, those
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
4?
Oh, we have 4.
Noon Connect. There's actually 5.
What?
Yeah. Breaking news.
Who's the 5th?
Nate Schmidt, you said.
Yeah.
Okay, while you do this research, let me
Jacob
keep doing it.
Megna.
I don't know who that is.
He's a defenseman. He
Oh,
played a few
defenseman.
games for us.
He's
Megna?
from Plantation, Florida.
That's
Hometown.
not a great weed strain, Jacob.
Megna.
Indiana Pacers, do it in the finals. Cleveland Cavaliers, do it in the playoffs. Jamal Murray, do it in the regular season.
What?
Pause for laughter. Shula's Joe Jackson, do it with shoes on. Pete Rose, do it when you're alive.
Oh, no.
What happened? Nico Harrison, chess, not checkers. Hey, Mavericks fans, the ones that booed Nico for trading Luka, you can't cheer for Cooper Flagg. Hey, Heat fans, the ones that didn't want to get the number 1 overall pick, 1.8% chance. Doesn't look so bad now. At least you'll always have The most lopsided series in NBA playoff history.
What about the Zaslow game?
You got to see Pearl Jam, so that's an important thing.
Twice.
How does transitive property work with the Pacers? Are they 244 points better than the Miami Heat?
At least. Nico Harrison getting rewarded after screwing up. Nico Harrison, the Stugotz, is strong in you. Nothing is more American than immediately wondering what teams the new Pope cheers for. White Sox, by the way. It's outside. Dodgers, 500 over their last 10 games. Overrated. Shohei Ohtani, do it from the mound. Top 5 athletes that connote the Pope and the conclave. Number 5, Ryan Church. Number 4, Bishop Sankey. Number 3, Brian Cardinal. Number 2, Kavosi Smoke. Number 1, Mark Pope. Is it?
I thought it was Cavassier.
Yeah, that's what happens when someone else writes a joke. Minnesota Twins, getting hot. Dan, do you know what the P in Michael Porter Jr. stands for? It stands for pass the ball to Jokic.
He was terrible last night.
I mean, what the hell is he doing? Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
I have a couple of questions for you guys. I believe you guys might not have caught this, that we have our first historic Zaz snort laughing at something on the air. Did you guys hear the?
I did. I was like, did he burp?
No, it was a little snort, and he was laughing at the idea of a weed strain being named Bud Black. Let's come up with some names, athlete names that I think we could do better than Bud Black. I wanted to ask you guys something else, though, about pathetic things that a champion can be proud of, because the amount of pride that just came through this room at the idea that this group has a hockey team that better than anyone can put a puck in a corner. And you can think at the end of Game 7 last year, is that Connor McDavid wide open right in front of the net? No, he's not, because the puck is never going to get there. And it looks like why would they leave him that open? Because he's not open. Because that's where the puck dies for the remainder of the season. That's where your season dies. You're not going to get it out of there. Explain to me something more.
Goosebumps just talking
explain
about
to me something more pathetic than that, but also more wonderful, because the person listening to this who doesn't care about the Panthers says to him or herself, I'm not taking pride in something like that.
They literally worked on that play in training camp, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they practiced that.
Like, it's not pathetic. They're a dump and chase team who wins puck battles against the boards, and in the biggest moment in franchise history, they did exactly what they were supposed to do.
To perfection.
This is like the hockey equivalent of the Heat. They said that the Ray Allen shot, they practice that every single day, where everyone has to lie down on the ground, and then they throw the ball up, and Ray has to get up, run to the corner, catch and shoot. Although that's a much more exciting play than they kept the puck in the corner for 15
this
seconds.
is the reason I bring it up to you, I mean, specifically, is because wherever it is that people love defensive basketball,
I love it.
Zaz loves defense in general, okay? But I would say, the New Jersey Devils were once upon a time ruining playoff hockey. Because
with an illegal style of play now.
But strangling games to death. And so you guys taking pride in this is funny, but and the team is multifaceted, so it's not just doing that, but that is a trait that other teams don't like.
Like that 2-0 win for the Panthers in Game 4 as opposed to the 5-4 overtime win in Game 3. That 2-0 win is like you're whispering sweet nothings into my ear. Like, that's my game right there.
A lot of people don't pay attention to defense and just think it's like happening in your own zone. But pay attention to this series, because you have 4 of the best defensive forwards on the planet. Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Barkov, and who I hope wins the Selke, and Sam Reinhart. Just watch what they do when the puck is in Toronto's zone and how they chase and how they wreak havoc. And look at what Toronto's done in the neutral zone this series. Like, if you like defense, this is a delightful thing to watch.
And you don't even mention Lundell there. Lundell is up and coming in that conversation.
Yeah. Oh, Listerainen's probably the most underrated player in the NHL. He's probably been Florida's best player throughout these playoffs in terms of consistency.
And finally, you got Forsling, who looks like Gustav Forsling. I mean, the defense, I forget who it was on the breakaway, but he bottled him up before Bobrovsky had to make an easier save.
Is Draisaitl a good weed strain?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Leon Draisaitl?
No. You need something that people can pronounce.
What about
No, see, it's too many syllables.
Nugent Hopkins?
Nugent. Smoking on that Nugent is like, that's
What about
a good one.
Evander Kane?
Oh, yeah. Something on that Kane. Wait a second. Wait, that's something else. I got a question about hockey defense. I find this to be very
Call it
fun.
defense.
Well, I could say defense because I come from the hardwood.
It's a goaltender goalkeeper situation.
We actually had a defense chant, which is rare at a hockey game, and they weren't doing defense.
How about Charlie Hustle? Is that a good
That
strain?
is a great drug strain. It's a great weed strain.
Do it when you're alive.
Ottinger.
Oh, what do you think caused it?
Charlie Hustle.
Hellebuck.
Smoking that Hellebuck.
Smoking that shoeless. That shoeless Joe Jackson. They're like, where are my shoes? Oh, my God, this is good. Wow.
That writing.
When it comes to defense in general, I mean, I do believe it's going to be a little bit confusing to people when they crown Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, if indeed they do that we've been talking so much about stars and star players and star players and star players, and we undervalue defense so much that we don't pay attention. That team won 68 games. Yeah, they can get free throws, and they're very good, but defensively they're extraordinary, and when that holds up the championship, it's unsatisfying.
Well, Dan, a couple of things. Number one, told you in January that these guys are going to win. So I want to, again, make it pretty clear. I was out on that Oklahoma City thing pretty early because...
Maybe you want to take a victory lap. That went so well last time.
They still might not win this series.
Sure. The thing I wanted to ask about defense, I find in basketball, it's pretty frustrating to me that we tend to not give the defense credit. Forget about not knowing how to measure it. We don't give it credit, right? So Jokic has bad games with an S in this series, and it turns into what's wrong with Jokic, not what is Oklahoma City doing that is making him so uncomfortable. And that was the question I was going to ask you guys before you just sang the praises of every single player on the defense. I'm like, all right, get to the point. Like, in hockey, do people praise the defense, or do they just say, man, Austin Matthews had a bad night again?
Well, Austin Matthews has been playing well defensively in this series, as has Marner, but that's not what they give them the big-time money for. Austin Matthews can make the same amount of money that he makes right now not giving a flying F about defense because they pay him to score goals and help others score goals, which is why the Toronto media is asking, where is he?
And Mitch Marner has 0 shots in the last 2 games.
Like, I mean,
That's
this was
unacceptable.
certainly the narrative last year where each round, wow, the Panthers have bottled up Kucherov. Wow, the Panthers have bottled up Zibanejad. And wow, the Panthers have bottled up Draisaitl. Like, that was it every series.
Smoking on that Zibanejad. I kind of like that one.
A Zaslow snort. Should we feel honored? I
do
feel like it's one of the highest honors that you can get.
Why is it when you're younger, if you snort, it's like embarrassing? I snort sometimes when I laugh. Whatever.
I feel the same way. It's like, why do people make fun of you when you cough after taking a pull out that Zaza Pachulia?
That's a good one.
Why is Max going back to HBO Max?
Is this a Nathan Fielder bit? Is this like going from HBO Max to
I feel like
to
they
Max
just
back
changed
to HBO
the Max logo also to look more like HBO. Now they're changing the name back.
It's a Nathan Fielder thing.
It
By the
has
way,
to be.
You can find our show.
I don't know if my own life is real. I think Nathan Fielder's going to walk out with that laptop on that harness and just kind of like...
That looks so cool.
No, it doesn't.
Come on, man. What?
It does. He looks like this guy's taking care of business.
You should get one of those. When's your birthday? Hey, isn't your birthday like now?
Next week.
All right, Dan. Laptop holder for his waist.
The Amin here, like all great art, okay, you will eventually come to moral conundrums that will make you ask yourself questions. The best of art, and that show is a wonder and delight. And I am confused by both the HBO Max switch, but I'm also confused in this age when really talented people are having trouble getting things made because there are just a few people making them, and I don't think people totally realize, like, the threat AI and that writer's strike, like what's happening in Hollywood. The idea that this person is being given this budget to make this thing, I don't know how many more chances you're going to see that someone gets the chance to do that because of how ambitious this television show is, and because Amin, for one, has questions about art and the morality of the television show.
Dan, as people know, I'm a guy with a pretty low tolerance or a high tolerance, to shenanigans, right? I don't get uncomfortable. I don't get cringy. I hate when the kids are like, oh, it's too cringe. No, I was like, laugh at it. It's funny. But this last episode of the rehearsal, I cringed. I was like, there was a point where I literally yelled at my TV, Nathan, no, Nathan, because like it's just stacking on. And at some point, I feel like, am I wrong to enjoy this? Yeah. What he's exploiting people. This isn't. It's not funny anymore. Except it is hilarious. But
I thought the point of the show is that he's helping people.
No, that's his other show.
That's Nathan for you.
What? No. He's helped. Well,
he is like ultimately like aiming to help a lot of people.
Yes, like he's supposed to. This is the theme for this season is trying to fix air safety. Basically, the reason why we have these crashes is because the pilots and the co-pilots have a very tenuous relationship. That is the premise. Now, as he's exploring this,
I don't like hearing that.
Well, no, but it's like he's trying to save it.
There's so many like recreations of air tragedies that'll make you pull your hair out.
I mean, you're telling me like next time I'm gonna be on a flight, I'm gonna be thinking to myself, those two guys who are in control, like they're not getting along.
It's already changing things.
It's worse than they're not getting along. They didn't know each other 3 minutes before they stepped on the plane together.
It's crazy, and the power dynamic is such that the co-pilot, even though he's there to be like a check and balance, you can't check that man over there or that woman over there, because if you do, that might be your ass. Yeah. So they just go along.
Why is it your ass?
I mean, that might be
because the pilot has so much power. He
because
basically
things are
controls
just
your career.
different now. You can't say things that you used to, because if you do, you get banned from all these social media dating sites without explanation.
Shout out to Pilot Jeff. But yeah, so like that's a real thing. Apparently, I didn't know about it until I started watching the show. The problem is him exploring how to fix that and how to enhance that leads him on all these side quests, and the side quests keep ratcheting up the uncomfortable like feelings, which is fine. It was all funny with the Paramount Plus, this kind of Nazi Germany thing, like all that stuff was ha-ha, up until you get to the point where you have actors and he's telling them, hey, go as far as you want in this romantic scene, and then you bring in their significant others to watch from behind the scenes. I cringed for the first time in my life.
First time in your life? Isn't that the whole premise of Cheaters? Like the whole isn't this cringe television for profit something that is you can't turn away from?
This is high
no,
art.
of course.
There's no comparison between Cheaters.
I'm saying the same feel. For Amin to cringe, when Amin says he's got a high tolerance for this, Amin would like to put comedy above most of our sensibilities.
I get very uncomfortable with that kind of stuff.
Dude, you'll be.
I'm going to watch a show, like I'm into it, but I get really I may have to turn away.
First season, he might have scarred a kid for life.
Yeah, the part where he was raising a kid. Someone asked me the other day, like, you didn't think that was bad? And I said, I mean, I did. I just didn't cringe. I was like, oh, come on, Nathan. But I wasn't. I was like, ugh. Yesterday or this week, I was like, ugh, watching that.
Zaz, what was the trailer you saw recently that you were talking about of a horror movie that made you like? Are you skittish about these things?
So we love horror movies in my house. Me, my two boys, we go to the movies. We go to the movies for Marvel movies, superhero movies, and horror movies. We see all the horror movies in the theater. But this movie in particular, it's called Weapons. Have you seen the trailer for this? Anyone? What's her name? Julia Garner?
I've seen it on mute. I know it's got the people talking.
Josh Brolin?
I've been asked about this trailer, and I've been
Thanos?
meaning to get to it.
So the trailer for this movie, Weapons, and the trailer is so creepy. It shows these kids like they're running out of their homes in the middle of the night in darkness, and they're going missing, and something is happening, and the kids and it's freaking me out every time I see the trailer. I'm really scared of it, but I have to go see it. I have to find out why are the kids running out of these homes, and I'm scared, but I gotta know. I have to know.
Is this a generational thing? You said Josh Brolin and you said Thanos.
Yeah.
I thought of Brand from the Goonies. Josh Brolin's always going to be Mikey's older brother.
40 years ago.
I'm just saying the Goonies was the Goonies
old.
I get it, but you see Sean Astin. Do you say Goonies?
I say Rudy.
I'd say Rudy.
Yeah,
All
Rudy.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't say Lord of the Rings
Don't.
or Encino Man or any other
That's right.
horrible
It's
movie.
because you're not a
Phobe.
virgin.
I would like to talk to you guys about the state of the movie industry in general, the R-rated movie. I don't know how many of you are watching Seth Rogen and what he's doing on Apple TV with the studio. And I don't know. I think it's critically acclaimed. It's funny, and I found that it's getting harder and harder to make some of this stuff funny.
What you guys didn't like? You guys weren't died at the Kool-Aid episode where they're trying to cast
Yeah, it was
Kool-Aid.
great.
Like, but like to me the hilarity is the kernel of truth in it, which is these are the types of obviously it's trumped up for comedic purposes, but these are the type of dumbass conversations they have. Oh, we can't have that. Oh, it's too like we gotta have someone who's this. Oh, how do we have representation? And then it's like you stray so far from making the thing into just trying to answer the disembodied voice of the internet saying, how could you cast such and such and such and such? It's the same thing with the Snow White. Brad Williams, friend of the show, was talking about this because originally it was supposed to be little people playing the dwarves, and then Dinklage comes out and says that's so beneath us. And every single dwarf actor in Hollywood is like, it's beneath you, you pompous ass. The rest of us need jobs. We can't go out and get regular kind of roles or whatever because of the prejudices in Hollywood. So he basically effectively killed at least 7 jobs, maybe even more when you talk about stunt people.
I want to seize on something Dan said about R-rated comedies because I think that like since the 1960s, we've never had such a long stretch of unpopular R-rated comedies. They're just not even making them anymore, let alone like they don't even have an opportunity to succeed or fail at the box office. And I think the natural place that people went was the societal shift that happened in the teens. Like if you watch Wedding Crashers, if you watch 40-Year-Old Virgin even, there are things and lines in those movies that you can't get this movie made. You can't get a laugh out of that line anymore.
Do you like to do it yourself?
There's so many things from those, which was probably the early 2000s, a golden era of what is considered to be a golden era of
raunchy
comedies.
comedies.
And it's a lost art form. But now there is one specific movie and one studio in A24 that's trying to bring the R-rated comedy back.
Everything they put out is great. That studio.
It's great to be a tastemaker in that way. Like if you see the A24 script logo, you're like, okay, I'm in. I'm going to give
They
this a
do
chance.
awesome horror movies.
Well, they're venturing into comedy with an R-rated comedy. I got to co-host a screening yesterday at the University of Miami for this movie, Friendship. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I think R-rated comedies are back.
Dan, just like that, make no mistake, R-rated comedies are back.
So hold on
Tim
a
Robinson.
second. He's meeting this. He meets his standard with what he's doing with Paul Rudd because his standard is now in a tastemaker comedy place where if he makes it, people are curious because he's so odd.
So one of the EPs of the movie, Alexis Garcia, who's a proud son of Miami, right? He talked to us before the screening, and he said, look, here's the deal. I was a huge fan of I Think You Should Leave. I'm a huge fan of Tim Robinson's comedy. And I said, man, I want to make something with him in it. But here's the thing. How do you sell it to the studio? And he sold it to the studio as
a low-budget Paul Rudd comedy.
So Paul Rudd is kind of like the Trojan horse that gets him in, but it really is Tim Robinson is the star of the movie.
It's an extended sketch of I Think You Should Leave.
It's a very, if you like I Think You Should Leave, it is that kind of movie. But it's not like, you know how like in the 90s we had SNL movies that were extensions of SNL sketches and like maybe 15 minutes in you're like, okay, this never should have been longer than a sketch. That's not what this movie is. This movie was gripping and it makes you kind of reconcile certain feelings that you have, like in my relationships as a person, as an adult. Are my friendships really friendships? Am I imposing, or are other people imposing on me? All of these questions come into your head in a very Tim Robinson way.
I cannot wait to rewatch it because there are so many like little, what many people might call little throwaway lines that aren't designed to get huge laughs, and maybe people aren't even catching the first time. There are so many lines in this movie, which is a staple of an R-rated comedy. Lines that you can go back to and revisit, like Anchorman and Wedding Crashers over and over again. I think this movie is certainly capable of that.
So, Dan, to answer the question that Mike brought up, is the R-rated movie dead, and can this bring it back? What effectively killed the R-rated movie wasn't the sensibilities. It wasn't like, oh, we're just too sensitive as a people now and you can't say these jokes or whatever. Not saying that you can say these jokes. I'm saying the idea that you can't make an R-rated movie that doesn't feature those jokes.
Would you at least admit that it's a contributing factor?
It is, but it's not number one. The number one thing is the shift in Hollywood, to things that are IP based, and then B, and this is perhaps even bigger, the shift from physical video sales to streaming, right? Because back in the day, all these movies, yes, Wedding Crashers was a massive success. Yes, Hangover was a massive box office success. But these movies were not made to be box office successes. They wanted to be modest, like make up our costs in the box office, but the majority of our money was going to come from DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS and all that stuff. That's how they were making their money on the back end. Take a movie like Half Baked with Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan, right? Cost them about $6-7 million to make. They made about 10 or 11 at the box office, but the video sales afterward double and triple and quadrupled what it cost them to make. Once you take that away, now we're in this, it's kind of like with musicians. They used to sell CDs, right, for $12.99 at Sam Goody. Now it's all streaming, and you get a fraction of a penny on each stream. It's so much harder to recoup your money, and that's what killed the R-rated movie.
Yeah, I mean, think about a film. We mentioned Ben Stiller a lot today. Zoolander. Do you know what its release date was when it came out to the box office?
Like the Tuesday before, or the Friday before 9/11?
It was the Friday before 9/11, and the box office was just totally dead, and no one went to watch Zoolander in the theaters. It became popular because of DVD rentals and DVD purchases and word of mouth, and that is something that just doesn't really happen anymore. Like, you'll occasionally have these weird random movies that'll crack Netflix's top 10, and you'll have an article like say, why is this so popular? But that is a very rarefied air. Before, it used to be commonplace, especially for comedies.
It used to be where if a movie was good in the theater, you would know it because every week more and more people are going, and it's making more and more money every single week. And now, if you didn't make all the money the first week, you're done.
Month and a half later, it's already available streaming.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions to ask you guys because Tony is a hustler. Billy is the nemesis of Tony. Tony has a segment coming up here where he went. What happened, Billy?
I don't think of Tony.
Okay, but Tony went to Mexico, and he's got a segment coming up here, and I think he's working against himself because I'm told there's a lot of Spanish in it. Should I be worried about?
Also, a lot of inner thigh in his promo for it.
Okay, so how do you feel about this, Billy?
About Tony in general, or the way he dresses like a clown, or
his inner thigh?
His inner thigh.
And, let's close with Mike Fuentes' cameo.
Oh.
So I just noticed that the audio I sent you on that first one, completely horrid. So we're going to do this one and hope it sounds better. This is Cynthia, by the way. Hey, Cynthia. Wait for Cynthia. So, yeah, really, we'll sing it again right now. Really, it goes, Mama, you know I love you. Mama, Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know loving you's like food to my soul. Yeah, I don't know why the audio on the other one came out so bad. Probably because of Bluetooth and cars, and now I know not to do that. So thank you for being the guinea pig. All right, have a good one.
Familia, Tony Tonight is brought to you by Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Did you know the very first margarita was made with Cuervo? There's nothing like the original. It's marg season, so keep it Cuervo all summer long. Vamos. So we've been driving all over Miami, and we're on Coral Way right now. We finally found, as you can see here in the back, the afilador. Not like you picture, not this big, huge van, but we've got in the back here, we got Daniel, who's going to show us the tricks of the trade to being un afilador. Oye, primero, gracias. Mira cómo tiene ahí tijera. Ok, so explícame. Afilador, ¿qué significa? ¿Qué haces ahí? Dime algo.
Bueno, yo afilo tijera durante 27 años aquí en Miami, a las barberías, a las peluquerías, a las factorías. A eso me dedico, es un negocio familiar.
Es un negocio que tú empezaste con tu hermano, que ya falleció, pero tú tienes la legacía de él en esto.
No, lo empezó mi papá en Cuba.
¡Wow!
Y enseñó a mi hermano me enseñó a mí. Wow. Y yo y él somos los más famosos aquí en Miami, afilando.
Wow.
Sabía muchos años, vivimos.
Pasaste del papá, del hijo, y el otro hijo, ya tú tienes eso y el negocio tuyo.
Vivimos de eso.
Y dime, ¿por qué lo tienes cerrado ahí? ¿Por qué no pueden ver la gente?
Exacto, porque tenemos...
porque lo tienes ahí escondido todo.
Secreto. Tenemos una receta secreta.
Ok.
Para poder hacer de afilar tijera.
¿Cómo es eso? ¿Cómo?
No, esto...
¿La secreta?
Sí. Estas son tijeras caras. Entonces, hay que tener una manera casi perfecta para poderlas hacer. Si una de estas tijeras yo las echo a perder, yo me busco un problema con el cliente, o con la peluquera, o con los groomies, o con los tapiceros. Pero estas tijeras en realidad son finas, son caras. Entonces, tenemos una receta y logramos la receta por muchos años, por eso podemos vivir de esto. Pero hay mucha gente pendiente a la receta y a nosotros nos ha costado toda una vida, a mi papá, a mi hermano, a mí, lograr.
En 2 países, en Cuba y
aquí.
Perfecto, las recetas
perfectas.
Wow. ¿Y me puedes enseñar un?
Sí, claro que te voy a enseñar, claro. Ya.
Lo tienes aquí, mira, escondido.
Hey, mira para adelante. Entonces, ok, yo para poder echar a estar ahí tengo que arrancar el banco.
Ok.
Ahora voy a... sí, claro, tú lo aguantas.
Ahí está, mira.
Yo voy a abrir.
He's gonna go turn on the van right now. But I got all the scissors ready, waiting for him. These are expensive scissors. There you go. You just heard it turn on. I'm excited. I've never seen inside of what this looks like.
Súbete, siéntate ahí y ensúciate. Espérate. Yo tengo 47,000 seguidores en TikTok.
Wow.
Yo tengo más de 3,000 groomies. Miami es la ciudad que más groomies hay. Hay muchos camiones de perros.
Wow.
Muchos camiones, yo tengo muchos camiones.
Pero tú eres nacional también, no solo en Miami.
Sí, desde Texas, New Jersey, Nueva York, me mandan tijeras.
¿Te mandan tijeras?
Me llaman.
Aquí
a Miami. Aquí a Miami.
Wow.
Entonces, ellos me contactan, yo les doy la dirección, nos mandan la tijera, peluquería.
¿No tienen afiladores en New Jersey, en Nueva York, en California, en Texas? No tienen nada.
No.
Esto existe nada más aquí en Miami.
Existe solamente aquí.
Maño, papi. Te la comiste, ¿eh?
Entonces, por ejemplo, vamos a hacer algo aquí o vamos a hacer algo aquí. Vamos a hacer algo aquí. Esto es lo que hacemos. Algo rápido. Y así la probamos. Pruébala tú.
No se siente mal.
Bueno, en realidad faltó un proceso. Pruébala bien.
Ay.
Esto te lo hice muy rápido para que tengas una idea, ¿no?
Wow.
¿Qué te parece?
No, está, bro. ¿Y tú haces todo el día?
Todo el día. Es que no me alcanza el día.
No te alcanza el día por el negocio porque hay más negocio que día.
Hay más negocio que día.
Coño.
Está bueno.
Eso es un problema bueno.
Sí, un problema bueno.
¿Y tienes un machete aquí para defenderte?
No tengo machete para defenderme.
¿Tienes machete?
No, para defenderme tengo una 45. Una 45.
un Glock.
Ya.
Ok. La cuestión más importante. El sonido del afilador. Cuando yo estaba criándome ahí en Kendall, lo oían. Y mi abuela, oye, coge, dale para el afilador. Y yo corría para allá, le di al tipo. Sí. Pero el sonido del afilador, ¿lo tienes aquí?
Sí, ya lo ven.
Oh my God, ok. Vamos para acá.
Vayan para adelante.
All right, you guys gonna come over here. He's gonna play the sound. All right, here we go. Here it is. That's it. This brings me back to my childhood. And the Spanglish too, which is perfect. That brings me back so many memories. Oye, me da.
Ahora sí.
Oh my God. Ya me pone como 10 años de ahí corriendo para el afilador. Oye, Daniel, gracias por todo.
No, gracias a ti, gracias a ti.
Check him out on TikTok. El Afilador 305. El Afilador 305. Check him out on TikTok. 47,000 people follow this guy on TikTok. You go do it too.
Thank you.
Gracias, papi.
Gracias.
Mi gente, thank you for watching Tony Tonight.
All right. Going to start with Against the Spread really quickly. Start with Roy, then over to Billy. 5, 4. I'm going to do the read. Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's right. It's time for Against the Spread.
Can I put a disclaimer out there on Against the Spread, given that I am telling you, Juju cares deeply about the picks he makes, he researches them, and more often than not, he gets 2 out of 3, except when Gary Payton Jr. stinks and you can't even get an assist and a half out of it.
Dan's talking about Thursday Thunder. We are doing Against the Spread.
I'm talking about his general gambling advice.
Let's go over to Roy.
Round 2, Game 5, Florida Panthers at Toronto Maple Leafs. The Panthers are the favorites tonight at 1.5 goals.
Everyone knows that.
Yes, the underdogs have covered the puck line in each of the Panthers' last 11 games at Scotiabank Arena. That's not going to happen tonight because the Panthers are the favorites and they are going to win. They are the favorites at 1.5 goals against the spread.
Billy, bring us home.
I'm going to keep it at Scotiabank. And I'm going to take the Maple Leafs +1.
Oh, you dog. You dog.
Now, the last time we were in this scenario, I proudly took the Panthers because Chris Cody and Mike Ryan told me Panthers bounce back. That's what they do. And
Hello,
they,
Dolly.
They did not cover that 1.5 point spread that day. I'm not saying the Panthers are going to lose. I'm just saying I don't think that they're going to win by 2 goals tonight.
Against the spread.
I got a lot of shit for that last time I did that. What are you doing?
Well, and you were right, and I was wrong because I took bad advice. So now Roy, I think of you as my muse. So when you did that a couple weeks ago, my ideas mill of sorts. And when you did that a couple weeks ago, I said, you know what? I should have gone with Roy. I shouldn't have gone against him. And I did. So I'm going to take inspiration from you last week, and I'm going to take your pick, and you're taking my pick. I know as I'm your idea is Mill.
The bet is over.
And I lost last week, unfortunately.
He's still going against me, though.
Well, he's going against
the Roy.
He's going against you, but what he's also doing is choosing this sweet cowardly spot where he picks against your team, but not enough that your team's going to lose.
Not his team, our Ice Cats.
Okay.
I'm watching tonight.
All right, Juju, I'm sorry, it's a big one tonight, and I don't know whether Juju cares about the Florida Panthers. A lot of time people care about stuff around here because we're caring about the teams. I want to apologize publicly to DraftKings and to Juju that I still don't know the difference between Against the Spread and Thursday Thunder.
It's only been 4 years, Dan.
But Juju is also very good, very good at the gambling. I shouldn't say also very good. He's the only one around here who is very good, but he gets disgraced by having to get all 3 right when he only gets 2 out of 3 right every time, as opposed to you guys who just get everything wrong.
What? I'm really good at hockey.
Get everything wrong.
Like shockingly good at hockey.
Juju, welcome. Did you the basketball last night? I didn't feel like OKC and the Nuggets, given the size of what that game was. I don't think we talked about it quite enough.
Right, 2 MVPs going head to head. You dig? Like, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander stepped up in a big way in a pressure-filled game, which he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to play in. He had the opportunity to show the world last night that him and his team can prevail. And like you said earlier, I think that this is the toughest test that they will have to face if they are, in fact, en route to a championship.
You've been great on the Celtics. You're still wounded today, right? Like that. That when you think about how a season ends or how it feels like it ends, it not only feels like it's over. I've got to think that the Celtics haven't felt quite like this since they went from down 3-0 to tying 3-3 to then losing in Game 7.
Yes, it's hurts so very badly. It hurts even more having to see you guys kind of just jump on the Knicks bandwagon just because the Celtics are losing. It's like my brother Amin, who I love, who I was shared a special moment last year with. Tears were in my eyes as the Celtics confetti was falling from the sky. He was right there with me. And now look at him, Brutus. Look, just LJ. And seeing Zaz's ugly mug just smile. He put his fingers in his face and made a smile just because he was so happy that the Boston Celtics had lost. And then you, Dan, I saw you hoped for an injury. Like it's been rough, but yes, it's not a woe. This is what happened on television.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, but Juju, you did understand that I was just like a little pinky toe or something. I didn't specify what kind of injury. I didn't want a major injury. I wasn't rooting for him. Is there no distinction there?
No, not at all. No distinction. But for the last time I may get to do this, we are the champions. It's been a great run. I see you guys again probably in 2027.
While we're burying former champions, the Nuggets are 2-5 in the playoffs when Jokic has a 40-point game. Non-Jokic Nuggets went 11 for 53 outside of 4 feet. That is defense too, though. That is defense. 20.8% shooting, and shooting in the fourth quarter. Jokic 4 for 6. The rest of the Nuggets 1 for 15.
Terrible. The supporting cast has to step up. It's the Michael Porter Jr.'s of the world. It's the Christian Browns of the world. Like, you got to knock down those big shots and those clutch moments, or else your hero is going to be a hero, but he's still going to get slain.
Player weed names. Surely you can do better than we did.
Yes. I like everybody to close their eyes and thinking about puffing on a pack of Precious Achua.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Also, puffing on a little bit of maybe a weed strand, the Haywood Highsmith.
He's better at this.
You're good at this, Juju.
Yes, he's better. He was listening and saying they're terrible at it. They don't know how to do it. Dreisaitl, Dan? Really? Dreisaitl?
What about some TJ Kushmanzada?
I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I was also listening to you guys pretty much basking the glow of the R-rated films making a return, the R-rated comedies. So I made a top 5 list of R-rated comedies of all time that I can think of.
Okay, of all time. Can I ask the group here, the last, we don't have to go back to like The Hangover for a comedy that everyone was talking about, right? We don't have to go back 15 years, right? It's more recent than that. The biggest, everyone right now is talking about Sinners. That's not a comedy, but one of these word of mouth comedies where everyone's talking about it. What's the last Universal one?
Blockers?
I loved it. It wasn't Universal though. Like Tag, I'm trying to think like
that's a good movie.
Game Night, like they're good. Good Boys. Good Boys is one that kind of broke through. Had some word.
Oh yeah, that movie's dirty.
Yeah.
But I stun you when I go back to The Hangover and you don't immediately say something else, right? It seems way too distant to go.
22 Jump Street. When was that? I love 22 Jump Street. Don't even laugh like that.
Pineapple Express.
This is the end.
This is the end.
Top 5 that he can think of as noted by Juju. I don't remember what the topic of this was.
Right. And of the last like 20 years too. I'll add that on there. OLI, Knocked Up.
Strong.
Hell yeah.
Fuck you, hormones.
Also, OLI, I Love You, Man.
One of my favorite rom-coms ever. I love that movie.
Hell yeah. Number 5, Pineapple Express.
Sorry, I undercut you there, Juju.
I thought the hurricane season was over. Number 4, the underrated, criminally underrated, Hall Pass.
How much ice does it take for a polar bear to, well, whatever.
Yeah, enough to break the ice. Number 3, Old School.
It's part-time, dick.
Jeez.
Yep, you my boy, Blue. Number 2, Superbad. You got to know. And number 1, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Classic.
I think we might have arrived in a new conversational space. I thought the wheelhouse of this show and sophomoric men in general was some form of 90s baseball. But sitting around talking about movies you like, staring at each other and just doing lines for each other, I believe is the greatest of the love languages.
It's the ultimate guy thing.
Yeah.
Like, girls never do that.
Pathetic.
Such a guy thing.
Women also. Women.
But also, I think I would like to put on the record, Chris, you are an amazing EP. You have been doing a great job. I think no one's better for the job than you. You feel me?
Thank you, Juju. Hear that, Dan?
Well, what
Dick.
is
Whoa, you got to say kinda.
It's-
Kind of.
I mean, I would just say, just to answer my calls.
Thanks, Juju.
We're not done yet.
Oh,
we got to
okay.
get to polls. We got to get to
we got
polls.
polls.
He got
Oh,
his
yeah, I
line
forgot
in
about
and
the
he
polls.
was
Yeah,
happy.
Look at him. Look at him.
He's
Oh, we got
EP,
food
Dan.
outside. We gotta get
Yeah,
some
but
food.
he's
That's
such
what
a
it is.
confident
He's in
executive
charge.
producer.
Feeling himself.
Did that not feel like an ending?
He gets an apology. He calls me a dick. And he says,
That's your EP right there.
That's a wrap.
no, I want the polls.
Right. Also, the show that you said with Seth Rogen that's on right now in the studio, it's amazing. Like you say, every episode, I can't breathe until the
But
episode is
Juju,
over.
let me ask you this, because it's such is Seth Rogen, I underestimated him. I did not think he could make something that is elevated level of comedy for Seth Rogen from the other movies you were talking about, like Pineapple Express. He's making fun of his own industry in a way that's really funny and smart. And
Right.
and I didn't think Seth Rogen necessarily had it in him.
What are we doing?
I'm not.
We're taking out Seth Rogen
No,
now?
I'm saying he's
You already
great.
took out Ben Stiller
No,
earlier.
I'm saying he's even better than I thought he was, and he was plenty good. I underestimated him.
Don't watch Neighbors
Right.
2. That was terrible.
I liked it.
Right. Every time he said last episode, like every time someone liked to thank Sal Saperstein, I was like, oh my God.
It was
what a
funny
great
every
episode.
time. It was funny every time.
Poll number 1. Does Mango Mountain Dew sound good to you? 67% of the audience says no, it does not.
You got to try
Damn.
it. Juju, you got to try it. It's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it. I'm going to try it. Does Jessica's grandpa suck?
He's true.
Those are two different things, though. I'll take your word for it, and I'll try it. Those are contradictory things. I'll take your word for it as you're not going to do it, and then you said you'll try it.
True that. How about I'll clarify? I'm going to take your word for it, and I'm going to go to the store as well and test out that Mango Mountain Dew.
But that's also the same thing you just said in that if you
This is a semantic situation.
This is like Dan asking Jessica, can you be a hardcore Christian if you're or Catholic, hardcore Catholic if your grandma bans Pope jokes?
Victory lap?
Those are the same
not
thing.
my best work. You guys want me to take another victory lap? You guys
No,
think
No,
it's-
no.
please don't do that. No.
They're tired.
57% of the audience says yes, Jessica's grandpa does indeed suck. And the last poll, what the hell, Johnny Depp? Please get out of here, please. 85% of the audience says yes. Back to you guys.
We're done?
Are we?
What happened to Wild Billy Wednesday? Give me some Wild Billy Wednesday music. What happened, Billy?
little outro music?
Where's the Wild Billy Wednesday?